right. Real bad man, now we people dance. We take dancing to a higher rank. With pen pound and with pen frank. Shut up a new dance and a Jamaica and drunk. Yes, on the river, on the bank. Kick out the shoes because you put them no camp. Snake in the river, on the bank. Shut up a new dance and a Jamaica and Bronx. Yeah, down the flank, we a go down the flank. Like a baller, we go down the flank. You cheap pretty young, get in your tank. But them new dance, you know where people can't pull. Give them a run, give them a run. Give them a run, we and the girls that have done too. Give them a run, give them a run. Give them a run, we and the girls that have done too.
I see no dance before, but I've never seen a dance like this. I see no dance before, I don't want to come talk to this. All right. Boom. Oh, God damn it. Forgot to take off the damn banner. My bad, guys. What is up? What is going on? That is correct. Elephant Man Pond the River. What's up, Bazo? Damn, I'm dancing alone. Yeah, I feel you, man. That song gets me up, you know? I'd like to try to change up the songs on my intros every now and then. And I think that's the one like I'm probably going to end up going back to because I really like it. But it is what it is. What's up, people? Thank you guys for popping in. Yeah, so Loki season 2, episode 1 drops tonight. It's gonna be an interesting watch. I personally wasn't a huge fan of Loki season 1. It had some good, I guess, a few good episodes, but really and truly, it fell flat for me. I mean, you already know my favorite episode is the final episode when we finally get to see Jonathan Majors, who is going to be in this series. But from what I'm hearing, it's not such a big role, right? So they're like, I don't think he's going to be like a major part of the series. Like he may be one little 2 parts, but we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we get a lot more Jonathan Majors in this. Dex said, let's go. That's correct. Landon said, what's up? How you guys doing, man? Thank you guys for popping in. It's always a pleasure. Are you guys excited for it? I know Dex is like, let's go. So I think he's excited for it. G Major, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people liked Loki season 1. Me personally, I think it has the same problem that most of the Marvel shows had. Is like Hawkeye was Kate Bishop, Loki was Sylvia. You know what I mean? Like there were major parts of the show, and I think that's the issue that I had with it. But hey, man, if you guys liked it, more power to you. Like I said, I didn't think it was horrible. It's definitely not the worst. Like we already know, She-Hulk is just ass, right? She-Hulk was just ass. Like She-Hulk was ass. Moon Knight was ass. What else? Can't remember what the other ones were, but I know there were a few that were ass, you know? Landon said, I'm not excited. From what I heard, sounds like another mid-ass show. I heard, too, with some of the reviews that came out, I tried to avoid them as much as possible, but I also heard that, yeah, there was some really bad reviews for it. Brandon Davis said, I liked She-Hulk. Hey, listen, man, if you liked it, I don't judge nobody for liking certain things. You know what I mean? If you liked it, I'm glad someone enjoyed it. I really do. For me, it's always been a situation with the Incredible Hulk, right? Because he's always been my favorite character. And Marvel has pretty much disrespected the Incredible Hulk throughout their whole movie franchise. And I think they did a little bit of it as well in the She-Hulk series. But man, if you liked it, man, hey, I'm glad. Like I said, man, there's something out there for everybody. You know what I mean? So just like I don't expect people to judge me because I didn't like something, I won't judge nobody if they didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? So I liked She-Hulk a lot. Definitely one of their best shows. Okay, absolutely. So you're saying the final 2 episodes are going to determine if it's at least good? No, it never really compared or comes to the last 2 episodes for me. It's the whole series, right? I've seen many series where there were episodes that were good, but the series in general was garbage. You know what I mean? So it's not just because of the last two episodes or whatever. Um, even for example, Secret Invasion, right? I liked that whole series up until the last episode. You know what I mean? But that didn't take away with the fact that I still enjoyed the series. I just think they dropped the ball on the end of it. I'll go to the same thing with Ahsoka. Shit, I liked the Ahsoka series. I thought it was dope. You know what I mean? Thought it was some of the best stuff that Disney Star Wars has done, but I wasn't too fond of the ending. I just there was certain things that happened in the ending that I didn't like, and if you guys want to find out more, make sure to check out the round table for it this Sunday. Actually, Chris will be doing the round table for Loki. Not exactly sure how we're gonna do it yet because we still have the final episode of Ahsoka to do, and then we'll have episode one of She-Hulk of Loki to do. So we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? I don't know when we're going to do it, but I definitely hope you all come and check it out because we definitely have good conversations. It ain't no echo chamber like some people like to come out there and claim that we're in. It is no echo chamber whatsoever. You know, some people like it, some people don't. Some people like certain parts of it, some people don't like certain parts of it. It's just the way it is, right? So, all I'm saying is, man, if you guys enjoy good conversation, come over to the roundtables or come over to some of the other streams that we do. You know, we just try to give our opinions. Do we have the most popular opinions all the time? Maybe not. Do people agree with our opinions? Maybe not. But that's what it's about. Everybody's entitled to have their own opinions, right? So I'm not just gonna sit here and like trash on anybody that liked something. So one of their best shows. Glad you liked it, brother. They made Hulk a wussy. Yeah, 100%. She Hulk was trash, Jack Law said. I thought she could have been hotter, though. The actress wasn't that hot in She Hulk, other than that, I definitely enjoyed it massively. You see, I'm not going to lie, right? As much as I say I didn't like She Hulk, there were some things in it that I like. The Daredevil stuff I kind of enjoyed. You know what I mean? Even though they made a joke of it when he was walking through the grass after, you know, giving her the wood. Um, I found that funny, right? It didn't make sense to the Daredevil character to just be walking out in the broad daylight like that, but at the same time, it was done for a joke, and I enjoyed it. He said uh, I believe we got a post-credit scene tonight. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. Does anybody know how long the episode is going to be tonight? I'm not 100% how long it's going to be, but with Disney and their shows, probably 40 minutes or something like that. Curious to know what you guys are excited about in the Loki show. I'm watching Ahsoka episode 5 now. Episode 5 was fire. Like, I can't even lie. You know, like you go watch the roundtables, you see we gave each episode high grades. Like there's nothing less than a B. Well, maybe Warren, because Warren's a hater. We all know that, right? But nothing less than a B. Like we all enjoyed the series, and it's going to be interesting to see who thought it stuck the landing and who didn't think it stuck the landing when we do our roundtable on Sunday. That's going to be interesting. Thank you, everybody that came in to check us out. I do appreciate it. Sticking the landing is the most important thing for me. If they don't stick the landing, it's going to drag the whole thing down, just like Secret Invasion. See, I agree with you, right? But just like I can't say a show is great because there was one episode or two episodes or things that I like, I'm not going to shit on the whole show because there are a few or the ending I didn't like. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. They did some really good stuff in Secret Wars. They just, to me, kind of dropped the ball at the end. Y'all need to do a roundtable for Gen Z. Oh, hey, man. Gen Z is fire. Yeah, I think it would be nice to do one for that. I'd have to get a panel together and see who wants to do it or not. But I did two roundtables in a row. I'm not 100% sure I want to commit to doing another one just right yet. I need a little bit of a break, you know what I mean, before I can get back into it. But I agree with you. Gen Z should definitely get a roundtable. 100%. That show is fire. And I seen episode 4 dropped. So as soon as this is done, guess what I'm going to be watching? I'm going to be watching episode 4 of Gen Z or Gen V. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, they need to somehow connect all the stuff because I really don't know where they're heading with this saga. I hope they do because, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of people had with phase 4 is that it didn't feel as connected as most of the phases. So I'm hoping personally, just like you guys, that there's a lot of connect. Like I hope this series knocks it out the park. I really do, because this leads into some of the stuff with Secret Invasion and all the stuff that they have coming up, right? And I want to be excited for Marvel stuff again. I'm not saying that I'm not or haven't been, but I just find it's been media core to good at best. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Gen V is off the hook. No, it's Gen V. It's not Z. It's V, right? Because it's for the virus, or is it Gen V? I don't remember. Oh, whatever. Either when the show is fire. You know what I mean? I can't wait because the way episode 3 ended, I was like, oh man, I want episode 4. And this is like certain series I'm like, okay, if you want to do it week to week, fine, no problem. But then there's some that I just want to binge watch. And Gen Z is one of those ones that I want to binge watch. I'm like, come on, man. This is the one show that I wish that they would have just dropped all the episodes out. But again, I understand why they don't do that because, you get people talking about the show week to week. If you drop it all at one time, you'll get a good maybe month or two of people really talking about it and bigging it up, and then after that the hype dies down. So I understand why they do it. I just wish some shows would just drop them all out. Like The Boys, I know when that comes out I'm going to want to just binge watch the whole thing, but they're going to drop it week to week, and I hope that they actually I just hope that they actually drop it all. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. But um this Loki series is one of the ones that I can honestly say that, well, week to week is fine with it. Now, if this first episode comes out and it's a banger, like it got me to be like, oh my God, I got to see the next one, then yeah, I'm going to be like, shit, they should have just dropped them all, or at least gave us 2 episodes. That's what I liked about Ahsoka, because when they dropped Ahsoka, was it Ahsoka? They gave us 2 episodes. I think it was Ahsoka. They gave us 2 episodes right off the bat. I kind of like when they do that. So if I'm like, if you're gonna, put it week to week, give us 2 episodes. Whet our appetite, especially when sometimes you're doing like 40-minute shows. So it's really insane that it's been 3 years since we seen Shang-Chi or the Eternals. That's an issue. They need to get back to what made them who they are. Yeah, and the next movie we got coming out is the Marvels, and I know there are a lot of people that just aren't excited about that movie. That movie is probably not going to do well. I personally will go see it because it's a Marvel movie, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go see it. Am I excited about it? Not really. Like I said, so when we had the first couple of phases, right, we already knew where the connectivity was going, what they were doing. We kind of have an idea with the Kang Wars and stuff like that, but it seems like it's all over the place because you have the Eternals, you know what I mean? Yeah, multiverse stuff. So sooner or later, they are going to connect it all together. And like Danny said, when they do, it may make some of those movies that came out in the previous years better, which I hope it does, right? Because right now it's just all over the place for me. So, have you heard about the DJ Envy scheme? No, what did DJ Envy do? Don't forget we got Invincibles next month. Oh, okay. So Invincibles coming out next month. Yeah, I'm excited for that too, because that first season of Invincibles was fire too. And when you're watching a good show, you remember certain things. And I remember watching the show and I'm just watching it. I'm like, it's okay, like nothing special. And then they had that last ending where Omni Man just fucked up the whole fucking Justice Society or whatever the names are. And I was like, yo, this shit is lit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm excited for season 2. And what up, Poe? How you doing? I'm at work and it's about to come on, bro. Yeah, I know it kind of sucks, eh? You see, I like this time slot. I do, because if not, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for me when it comes out. And I seriously, with back to work and all that stuff, there's no way I am staying up till 3 o'clock to watch the show. Right. And back then we were doing it on stream with our watch parties, and then we would discuss it afterwards for a couple hours. So I wouldn't go to bed till like 5 o'clock in the morning. There's absolutely no way I am doing that now. Absolutely not. So when they said they were dropping Ahsoka at 9 o'clock, I was like, yes, great. Keep doing it. And it looks like they're probably going to keep doing that. So I hope they do, because it really helps out, for like, I can do these watch parties, and people can have something to talk about right away. Like, I think Spoiler Kings are probably going to be doing something right after it drops. So I'm okay with that. I really am. I hope they keep doing it. I hope every series that comes out, they do it like that. Mr. Graham is in the house. What up, Danny?
What's up, bro?
Chilling. What you saying?
Man, I'm on the road, man. On the road.
No problem. Are you on your way home, or you're not going to be able to make it?
Ain't no way. I'm about probably 45 minutes at best from my house.
Damn.
Yep.
Well, hey, work happens. You know what I mean? Life gets in the way. You got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
Simple and plain, man. I'd rather be making that money too.
How long is the first episode?
I heard it's 48 minutes.
Whew.
Yeah, it's 48 minutes. So hopefully it's good, man. If I watch it, well, I will be watching. But if you get home later on and because I know you don't have Disney Plus, you want to watch it, just holler at me. I'll come in a StreamYard and let you check it out.
Yeah, I wish I could watch it on here.
You probably could if
Phones. If you send me the other link, I'll use my other phone to watch it.
Yeah, I think I could do that. Hold on.
Send me the link in the private.
I will. I'll send you the link in the private chat so that you can hopefully watch it. I don't see it being an issue.
I don't think it will.
He got kicked out, so he'll probably be back in a minute. I'll wait till he comes in to put it into private chat. You ready for Loki? Yeah, I'm ready for it, to be honest with you. I'm ready for it. For me, I'm a Marvel guy, so anytime Marvel, DC, or anything come out like that, I'm ready for it. So I put it there in the private chat, Danny, if you can see it.
See if I can do it on my.
In there, so good. Okay, so we have that ready. Okay. DJ Envy is part of a housing scam with his partner Caesar. Oh, really? Well, DJ Envy, those guys over there at the Breakfast Club, even what's his name?
Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne the God. That's it. I keep thinking Chameleonaire for some reason, but Charlemagne the God, I kind of like. They kind of iffy to me. You know what I mean? They're very suspect to me.
You see that girl? She left him.
Yeah.
Doing her own thing.
Angela Martinez, she left them, do her own thing. And I remember, I think people were trying to say there was a beef, that they came out and just said that, she had a better opportunity. But they'll say that to hide a beef. You know what I mean, Danny? They'll be like, yeah, no, she left for a better opportunity. But back scenes, something happened. And I believe that her and Charlemagne weren't getting along for a while, because he had to come out and apologize to her for some of the things that, went on back there. So I think he did that on Vlad. So
I never did care for Charlemagne. You think he is just...
Yeah, me neither. I'm right there with you. Oh, Angela Lee, my bad. My bad. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've never been a huge fan of this guy anyways, you know what I mean?
And then
Like,
he ain't. If somebody really challenge him, man, he clams right up. I forgot one of them rappers that was on there, and he was pretty much tell man, you don't know who you're
oh,
sleeping with.
yeah. I know who you're talking about. I think it was the Birdman too. I think it was Birdman. And they were coming out, put some respect on my name. That's where that
Uh,
came from,
uh,
right?
and he tried to act all hard and stuff. That man was challenge him in studio. It's gonna
Uh-huh.
be a horse of a different color.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He acts hard when he's like not around the person, but the minute they come in the studio, he's like, "Oh no, you know we this and that." He's a punk, bro.
And when I really started liking, what's the guy that Chris Bouchard? They thought they was gonna like hit him up, and man, he broke down like what a Christian should be, and man, Charlamagne couldn't say nothing. Every scenario he gave him, Chris Bouchard was breaking it down. I said, yeah, I knew I liked Chris Bouchard, but his stock went up even more when I saw that episode.
Well, I watched this video the other day, and I guess they had this black dude. I don't know who it is that's running for president, and they were trying to hem him up, right? And they just weren't smart enough because, like, this guy obviously he's down with Trump because he said MAGA, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, MAGA this and MAGA that, and they tried to like bring all this stuff to him, and he just was breaking down all kinds of shit to him, and it's messed up when you have people who don't really know what they're talking about, but just know of a narrative or don't know real details, and then they try to counteract to someone that knows exactly what they're talking about. You know, you're gonna get burnt every time.
Yep.
Birdman suppressed him. Yeah, absolutely. Nah, Charlemagne was making fun of Angeli because of the Gucci Mane thing. Okay. I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but I know they had an issue at one point to where he had to end up coming out and apologizing for what he did. Okay, so you're in there, Danny?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so you'll be able to watch it. Cool. That's it.
The power of two phones. The first time it was actually a good thing.
and tell them what type of phones you have, Danny, so the people know.
iPhones. They are the
Correct.
best on the planet.
Correct.
If
100%.
you have an Android, go throw it away.
100%. Absolutely. If you do, get rid of that shit. You excited for this series though?
I don't think excited's the right word. Interested. Very interested. I want to see how they're gonna do this Jonathan Majors thing.
Yeah, me too. I also want to see what they're gonna do with the multiverse stuff, and I really hope it's gonna be good.
To tell you the
Yeah,
truth,
Danny's.
right now on this side of it, I'm more interested about Star Wars and Ahsoka.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I mean, me personally, I don't think the ending got me like excited to see what's coming next, but I am hopeful because of Ahsoka was good, right? So I am
So
hopeful
I
that
watched it the second time. I liked it a whole lot better than when me and you watched it. And then I
did
talked
you?
to Rob and I researched and a lot of that stuff. And I said it last night on Gaiskar channel. A lot of that stuff. This Star Wars now, it ain't for the casual viewer. This is for the people that read the books and know that mythology and know the mythos, because
Mm-hmm.
those zombie stormtroopers we didn't like, it's in the book.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know.
It's
Yeah, I
called
know.
a death trooper. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
But the
I
only
know.
thing he changed it up with, it was a disease that caused it, kind of like The Walking Dead. He
Yeah,
changed it
yeah,
from that to this witchcraft stuff.
yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, I can't hate that because it ain't nothing that he made up.
No, I knew it was from the book. I think I said that already when I told you that I read an article where they said that Ezra is going to use the Force in ways that we never seen before, which never happened. But they also did say that they were bringing in the zombie troopers, and they are from the book. I just didn't like the way they were, and to
Yeah,
be
I didn't
honest
like them
with you,
all. I think if they would have done it, the disease
what
would
up,
have been
T?
more Walking Dead. The way they did
Mm-hmm.
it this way, I like it better with the Night Sisters.
I think because I watched it again too, and the choreography for me is bad. Like I see so many mistakes with the fight scenes and everything. It was really bad. I was like, nah. I personally hate it more than I did the first time, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm worried about Loki, even though I like Loki season one. There are many things about it I didn't like. Yeah, me too. And I said this earlier. I think a lot of the issue that I had with it is because it was more it seemed more about Sylvie than it did about Loki, you know. So that was one of the issues that I had with it. But that last episode with Jonathan Majors, I really enjoyed. He said, Anzo, these Marvel shows on Disney Plus for the most part tend to be let down or waste of potential. None of them are as good as Agents of Shield. Um, I'll agree
I
with you on that one.
I
Go
disagree with
ahead.
that.
Do you?
Only reason because had not Secret Invasion not did that crazy ending, it would have been the best thing Marvel put out on Disney Plus
I'll
on
agree.
TV. And I can't just give it a complete F because the first 7 episodes was fire. It had everybody engaged. They were talking. Nick Fury is doing his thing. Samuel Jackson doing his thing. You can't blame Samuel Jackson, and you can't give it a total F because you didn't particularly like the ending.
Oh no,
I
I
mean,
agree.
I can.
No, I agree. I don't give it an F either. I think,
I mean,
and
I
I said
can.
that earlier.
I mean,
Go
if it would have got an A plus, I
ahead.
think I give it an A minus.
Yeah. I said that earlier too. I said if a show is not good, but it has some good parts into it, I'm not just gonna say, oh, the show was great because there were a few things I liked about it, and I'm not gonna do the same thing the other way. So if the show was good, and let's say that like Secret Invasion dropped the ball at the end, I'm not gonna say the whole show was crap because they dropped the ball at the end. You know what I mean? I won't say that. But what I will say is that like you said, it does bring the rating of the show down a little bit more, but to say it's garbage or that the show is all bad because of that one episode, nah. And it's the same thing with Ahsoka for me. I'm not going to sit here and say Ahsoka was a bad series, even though I still think that last episode just didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? Like I had the same conversation with Rob too, and he was telling me all kinds of stuff too, and I'm just like, nah. Mm-mm. And then I had a thing on Twitter with Langa, and he's like, "Oh, it's ended in a cliffhanger," and I'm like, "No, that was not a cliffhanger. That ending was not a cliffhanger. It ended with
I
questions
think
being answered, but it's not a
I
cliffhanger."
think I think it was a cliffhanger in the sense that we used to that. Oh hell! And I think somebody last night said it perfectly. When we saw Infinity War and they start dusting people, that was like, oh hell! What? How they gonna get through this? We didn't say that like, oh, it didn't have the oh hell, but it's like, man, what are you gonna do now? When we saw him going to Dothamir, that made me say, okay, he's going there to get those zombies all powered up. He's gonna start planning his next move. And we saw Ezra going back and seeing Hela, and that's gonna give Hela the proof to the council that look, throwing his back. And we saw how's Ahsoka and Sabine gonna get back. And then you saw Balin standing in front of the daddy and the son, and the daughter's head missing, and you're like, man, is he? I'm thinking the son is still alive, and he gonna make that offer to Balin that he tried to make to Anakin. That's what I'm thinking. So it had my
I,
mind going in several different, like, man, they're gonna show this, they're gonna show that. So it wasn't the old shit like Infinity War, but
but you
it
see,
kept me asking a lot of questions.
right. And that's just basically because they're setting up for the next season, right? But when I posted it the description of cliffhanger is to end in suspense, right? To have you saying like, "Oh shit!" Like Fast X, that was a fucking cliffhanger.
I
That
agree.
ended in a cliffhanger, right?
Yep.
But to me, you can't give me a show where it just leaves questions open and say it ended in a cliffhanger. It ended where there's questions, yes, but a cliffhanger is ending where something bad is about to happen and it cuts off, boom, and you gotta wait till next season or whatever to find out what happens. That is a cliffhanger to me. This just ended with more questions. It didn't really end in a cliffhanger to me. But of course, certain people want to argue with you and tell you whatever you say is stupid because you have no idea. And I'm just like, whatever, fuck off. Like I was really pissed off with dude yesterday. Like really, 100%. I was pissed off with him. Disney Plus
You
destroys the
said
Marvel
Rob
box.
told you that?
No, 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 not Rob. It was
Oh,
Lunga,
oh,
Lunga. You know,
yeah.
that's what pissed me off. So. Disney Plus destroyed the Marvel box office numbers because people waited 45 days just to watch it on Disney Plus. Streaming is one of the biggest problems with movies now. I wouldn't 100% say it's the biggest problem, but I think the 45-day wait is a problem, right? Because movies will usually be in theaters for like 4 months or stuff. Now, if the movie by the 45th day isn't making any more money, then yeah, take it off, put it on streaming service, see what you can get with it. But other than that, Anzo, even when I'm not excited, I'll give stuff a shot. But I'm getting tired of Disney messing up Marvel materials, just sad and lazy. Yeah, I hear you, brother. See me, I don't really want to see the same stuff that I see in the comics or anything like that. So I don't really have an issue with it, but let's see if season two is up. Yep. Season two, episode one is up. So let me bring up the banner. Let me bring up it says remove, but oh I know why. No. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, cool. Hold on guys. Just get this. Sure, there we go. That's better. So we're ready to go, Danny. You ready?
Yep. I'll probably
All
have to mute
right.
this because it'll probably bleed over.
Yeah. You can mute your stuff and just unmute if you want to talk. And
All right.
let us begin. We can skip the recap. Me personally, I'm really curious to see how it starts off because of how it ended. So this should be interesting. And it is about 45 minutes. So I would say 40 minutes with the 5 minutes credits. I like that. Okay. This guy. Oh, well, she's dead. Yeah, it's switching between timelines or something like that. Oh shit! It was a crack in the floor. He's dead. Okay, I can't lie. It's a good start. It's definitely a good start. Disney Plus destroyed them all. I don't know if I should watch it at work on my phone or wait until get home in 3 hours. Have fun. Have to work tonight. Thanks for coming down the line. Paul, watch it when you can enjoy it, brother. Mm. Thank you for the uh, dollar super sticker, Poe. Much appreciated. Always a pleasure. Make sure there's no sound bleeding through. Okay. Mm. Thumbs up. He's just like keeps missing Morbius, but now he's probably back in the original one what we saw because Morbius would be in that room, I'm guessing. Oh shit. So that's what I'm saying. Like Kang, Jonathan Majors is all over this next phase, man. So I hope they get rid of his case real quick. That's my boy, Jonathan Majors. Let's go. Uh, mm, Yeah, I'm enjoying the episode so far. Baby. Yeah, I can't lie. I'm enjoying it so far. What up, Mr. Virus? What's going on?
Hello, brother.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing good. Do you want the link to watch it, or are you just gonna wait?
I'll just wait. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Because you
yeah,
didn't see the beginning, eh?
right. Yeah. So I'm not even like really looking at the screen.
I
But
got
I figured I could talk to you.
you. Not a problem.
Yeah, I should be checking it out in the coming hours when the friends come and get me.
You're gonna watch it with them?
Yeah,
I got you.
that's the plan. Um, oh, now I remember what I was gonna tell you. So I definitely caught up with what the hell was I thinking about? Dead City. Yeah, me and the friends we caught up with that.
Finished it?
Yeah, we finished it off. We binged like the 5 episodes that we
Mm-hmm.
had left. Yeah, so yeah, that shit was fire.
Told you.
Yeah,
I,
like that shit was good as fuck. I don't know.
I agree.
I like in fact when we had what was it when we got to episode 4, right? I was just like, just looking at everybody, and I was like, man, this shit sucks that we waited this long. And they were like, yeah, and then we all had to get together, and I was just like, see, it's stuff like this where I'm about to cancel people's friendship. I was like, no, we can't be doing this again.
Mm-hmm. Because Daryl Dixon started too, eh?
Yeah, that's 5 episodes in, and then Sunday will be the finale, the sixth one.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll definitely get to that pretty soon.
Yeah. I watched the first 3.
Oh, yeah. How'd you like it?
It's not bad so far. It's pretty good.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I couldn't believe how good that shit was. Like I was saying earlier in the chat with the Marvel stuff, like how I've been feeling
Mm-hmm.
like these last several years, with the exception of a few projects.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like the way I was feeling watching Dead City. I'm like, man, this is what's up right here. It was like the whole time, like just cheering and conversation. Right, we're fast forwarding it through the commercials. We got it on the DVR and everything. Right, we're just talking like, oh, what do you think's gonna happen? And it's just a great time.
Absolutely. Like the whole show is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was kind of a little sad that it was so short. I'm like, hey, that.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it had been 22, I'd have been fine with that because I was enjoying it so much.
Yeah, there's gonna be a season 2, I heard though.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, same thing with Daryl apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shows are really hitting it off. They were intended to be one season, but I guess because humans like them so much that they gave them another season.
It's good.
I was like, yeah, that'll be interesting. Unlike these spin-offs or what brings humans back. Because remember how many humans fell away like for years. So
Hmm.
that's interesting if it's because of the spin-offs that get a lot of humans to come back.
I agree. This is so good so far though.
Talking about Loki.
Yeah, it's good so far.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah.
But you see, the thing is, right? It's good because we're getting a lot of Loki and Morbius stuff, and so far they haven't shown Sylvia yet. But
Oh, good.
yeah, I'm just hoping that it focuses more on these two than Sylvia.
Right. Cause I I am so sick and tired of the bait and switch on. So like that shit just makes me bash my head on the wall. I'm like, because even like with at the time when Hawkeye was out, right? Like
Hmm.
even when I was mentioning that, I was just like, I like Kate Bishop. I read her comics. Like she's better than Ms. Marvel in terms of a character, right? Like I like her, but I had an issue with like them not spending the time on Clint. Like I wanted to see his backstory and the stuff with
Hmm.
him and Natasha and how he met Nick
Hmm.
Fury. That's what I wanted to see. It was just like the placement of everything. I'm like, why did you do this? Like this is not what we wanted. And then
I
humans are
agree.
uh, I'm like, don't even say nothing about Kate Bishop. I was like, I like Kate Bishop. It's just I didn't want a whole show about her because that's not what I came for. But it is what it is.
Hmm. I agree.
Yeah. So it's as I told humans, I'm like, not everybody needs their own shows and movies. You could just put them into something and they'll work just fine. You know, because even with the comics, how they give everybody their own stuff. There's a reason why some of them are really short-lived and others last for years. As Anzo, as a comic reader, that's why they do that. So even in that universe, in that context, not everybody has a million issues for a reason.
Absolutely. I agree.
So it's either because they're not good or there's not enough readers or a combination of both. Something's wrong, obviously.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah. So how many minutes has it been with no Sylvie?
Well, right now we're hold on, 23 minutes in.
Oh damn. Okay.
Hmm.
Hanzo, I swear to God, if we don't get her for like 2 episodes and then like the last four, she's just like the main character, and then Loki's just off randomly in some random timeline. I'm like, I don't know about this, Hanzo,
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
because I saw her a couple times in the trailer, which I mean nobody was surprised. It was like we knew Sylvie was going to be there, but I was like,
Hmm.
please don't let her be better than Loki. Like it's just the way that she fights compared to him. I'm like Loki should be doing it. I saw him fight Cap and stuff in Avengers 1. Like he was the main villain. I'm like, how is it that he's like as I said, a shell of his former self? That's so weird to me when they do that. I'm like, just because uh, you're nicer or whatever it is, right? You join an organization, whatever they try to do story wise, where the characters is considered nicer, that doesn't mean that they suddenly lose their skills, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, for example, like say if I'm a badass sniper and I was just taking a bunch of individuals out, and I suddenly became religious, and I'm like, what, I'm not gonna do that no more, Anzo. I'm gonna, live on a farm and do this and that. And then, say they take out my family or whatever, and I got a reason to pick up, the rifle again. That don't mean I suddenly don't know how to shoot anymore, Anzo. That'd be weird.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. So it seems like this episode is more or less trying to figure out how to stop him from time slipping.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's still doing slipping in and out of time, huh?
In that time, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. This multiverse stuff is, what's interesting. What I told some humans, Anzo, is that in the context of Marvel Comics with their multiverse stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can get really sloppy, and in the context of how they're doing it with the MCU is pretty sloppy. And then there's only like certain things where you're like, oh, okay, I see how that's connecting, but there's a lot of disarray, and the one constant thing, at least more so recently, is the Kang stuff. But like outside of that, it's just like, what does that have to do with this, or what does this have to do with that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like as much as I like, say, uh, Shang Chi in the Legend of the Ten Rings, I'm like, what does that have to do with Kang in the multiverse?
Mm-hmm. Have you watched Gen V yet?
Oh, absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. That show was fire as hell.
It is.
Oh my god, that show is look. Um, naturally I was gonna watch it because the boys, right? Because I got into the boys as we were talking about back then, and then remember I got into the comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at that time I didn't finish reading them, but I'm all done now. Like I did the because they had like the main one that was like 72 issues or whatever. I did that, and they had a couple spin-offs. One was the Hero Gasm, which they showed the last season. They had
Mm-hmm.
like 6 issues around that, and then there were like two other like brief spin-off, like 6 to 8 issues. Like one was about Butcher's background and stuff, and then there was another one centered around a smaller character. But aside from that, I read all of the main one in that Hero Gasm spin-off, and essentially everything that they've been showing in the context of the boys, and even Gen V, that's all within the main storyline. They showcased a little bit those different schools and universities where they're training the individual with powers and seeing where they're going to place them. Um, so yeah, that's all there. And granted, it was pretty brief because it's all about Butcher and
Yeah.
the seven and all them. But that kind of stuff would be explored to some degree, and you're like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And they'll kind of bring up certain details later. Yeah, as you go from like issue 20 to like issue 35, they'll bring up somebody, and you get to see different power sets and stuff. So I figured, okay, this is it is pulling from some material. They adding a little bit of stuff in there because again, it's not explored as heavily as what you would get with the whole show, like centered around it. But because they're actually pulling from stuff, I was like, that's nice. So let's see if the execution is on point. And
Mm-hmm.
so far, it is. I, I it don't
Yeah.
make no sense how good the show is, Anzo. Like when me and the friends were watching it, we are like, damn. Like I honestly thought this was just gonna be okay at best. Like, it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
nothing bad. Just, we waiting on the boys. It's a nice little stand in. But I was like, no, this shit is good though. This shit
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah. It is. It is
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, but,
Episode 4 is on there now, so I'm gonna watch that later tonight too.
yeah, yeah. That's probably how we're gonna do it. We're probably gonna do Loki first, and then Gen V, and then um, or it might be Loki, then the Continental, because I think that
Mm.
third final episode of that one came out too.
Oh, it did?
So
Okay.
I think so. I think it because I think they were coming out on a Thursday, and we saw the first two. Um, we like myself and then the friends, like we didn't really like it. Like it's not bad, but it was like one of those like it's it's very slow to be in the John Wick universe. You know what I mean? Like like the actresses, they're all great. There ain't no issue there with none of the casting. All that's incredible, and I get it, you know. But there's a lot of talking, and you miss the action. You know what I mean? It's like there's not enough of that kind of John Wick kind of style. And you know, as I was telling them, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as the movies. Nobody was, but you could do better than this. And you know, throughout the first two episodes, you see a little inklings of what we got in the John Wick movies briefly, but for every time they might do that, then there's like 30, 50 minutes of just talking and exposition and setup and stuff. And I'm like, it's too much of this for it to be only 3 episodes. You know what I mean? Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't you shouldn't be wasting that kind of time if that makes any sense when you just got 3 episodes. So
I got you. I watched the first episode and I was just like, man, not really. Like, I was like, I'm good. I may finish it, but it's not like a priority to me.
oh no, it's really not because I saw the second one. It's more the same. Now the third one might pick up. At least it should because of all the build up for like 2 hours and something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely not a priority. But I don't hate it, but I wish I loved it, and I don't. So that's the thing.
Mm-hmm. I actually like what they're doing here. I think you'll like the first episode of Loki. So I thought it was going between timelines, but it's between the past and future. Okay, interesting.
Wait, say that last part again, Anzo.
Oh, I said I thought Loki was traveling through timelines, but he's traveling between the past and the future.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing too. You know, some humans are like, you know, you got to keep it simple, and I'm like, yes and no. It depends on like what storyline and what characters, because being simple also could hurt it, and then being too complex can hurt it. So you're supposed to find a middle, a common ground, so
Mm-hmm.
that way you can satisfy the fans and you can satisfy the casual viewer. You should be doing both simultaneously, not just one or the other. Um,
Yeah.
and when it comes to time travel or multiversal adventures, if it's not really thought out that well, aside from distractions of cameos and things, you know, someone like me might be like, this, I have an issue with your storytelling, but it was nice to see so and so, but you know, what else do you got for me? You know, once I, you know, stop cheering, you know,
Mm-hmm. I agree.
like if now I'm not excited for it because I don't trust them right now. Like, you know, maybe a trailer can get me excited. As I always say, a trailer could do that. And
Mhm.
you know me, I'm gonna be there no matter what, whether I'm excited or not. And then I hope I enjoy it. But uh, when it comes to like Secret Wars, I do not trust them to handle that shit right. I have a terrible feeling about that. But if they do handle it right, then that'll
It'll be
be
epic.
it'll be beyond epic. But I just don't trust them to do that now. Like based upon what I've been seeing the last few years, I'm like, they're gonna fuck that up so bad it's not even gonna be funny.
I hope not.
I'm just like, yep, this whole thing with the Beyonder and the Battle World and putting all the characters there. I'm like, first of all, that storyline, as cool as it was, that was only meant to be there to sell toys,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So the, really, that's just all about nothing but fighting. There's not a strong story there. And I'm just like, that part concerns me. I'm like, what are they going to do? And then it's just like, who are they going to use? And like, are they going to do the Beyonder correctly? And I'm like, oh, and then it's like, yeah, but you're not even really using the characters that you have. Are you waiting to use them? Why are you waiting so long? And why are you messing with these other characters that we don't care about? And there's just too many question marks. That's why I'm like, when I see a trailer, then I'll be like, oh, damn, Lonzo, like this. Okay. Yep, I already got the IMAX ticket. Or I'm just going to be like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I know I'm gonna definitely see it. I'm like you, regardless. I'll see it.
Right.
But
Right.
like I'm even gonna see the Marvels, to be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be there in IMAX,
Yeah,
because it's Marvel. I'm not excited about the straight to DVD looking movie, but yeah,
right. I'm right there with you. Am I excited about it? No. But will I watch it? Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, it's just one of those things like where I'm like, out of all the things you can do, why this? This don't really need a movie. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. For real.
They like,
Someone
yep, we
told me
need
this.
to. But go
What were you
ahead.
gonna say? No, I was gonna say
No, go ahead.
someone told me there's an end credit scene for this episode. So when you watch it, make sure you look out for it.
Oh yeah, yeah, will do. Yeah, sometimes I forget. Like most of the time I like wait and stuff, but sometimes I do. And I'm just like, I need to stop walking out. Well, not with Marvel though, but even with sometimes other movies like with the
Because you
Saw
missed the
X and
Saw
stuff.
one, right? You missed it, right?
I'm just yeah, that really irritated me to find that out that I like missed the whole scene. I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. I know. I almost missed it too. I'm like, fuck.
Cause I'm just like I guess I'll just wait for everything, and naturally I'm not gonna like think about doing that for everything, but I'm like it seemed like I might have to because you think it's done and then maybe it's not. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it seems like I'm guessing Victor Timely, who is definitely something that they're pulling from the comics within that time period, and
Mm-hmm.
also shout out to the original name and context before Marvel Comics as well. Like I get all that stuff they're doing, and the different Kang variants and stuff. But hopefully they show a lot of him. Not just like certain scenes.
Yeah, I agree. What the fuck just happened?
So how many minutes in total you think we gonna see Kang?
Who? I
Kang,
don't.
like how many?
I don't know. Maybe an episode or two. I don't think he's gonna have a huge part to play. That's what I heard. So I don't know. I'm
Uh,
just glad that Marvel didn't do anything to like cut him or replace him from it.
right, their usual spineless selves. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because that would have been very unfortunate if they'd have did that.
absolutely.
Because we all would have knew why, and it's just like, so um, I would say he probably gonna have 20 minutes of screen time out of the whole thing, like in total.
I agree. Shit, it ended.
And I'm also predicting something very unfortunate. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing Sylvie's gonna have way more time than Kang. Like,
Yeah, for sure. for sure. I have a feeling that goes without saying.
Yeah, that's just
Shit. I liked it though. I liked the episode.
okay. Now,
I liked it.
now you liked it. Now, is this like anything like, oh my god, like is it like, Gen V or any of that kind of stuff?
Um, I wouldn't say it's Gen V, but I like what they did.
Okay.
You did see they did show Sylvia for a second there at the end, but yeah, it's very good. Even the way it ended. See, now this is something I would say kind of ended in a cliffhanger, right? Because when it ends, well, I'm not gonna tell you, but you'll see. Danny's back.
Right.
What up, Danny?
What's up?
What's up? What'd you think?
I wasn't too impressed from what I saw.
Really? I liked it.
Right, because I didn't see it. I'm watching on a little phone and the noise is all crazy. I gotta watch
Yeah,
it on
yeah.
TV.
On the big screen, yeah.
I'm like, why he ain't got no powers or nothing?
What's that?
Why ain't he use his powers?
Why didn't Loki use his powers?
Yeah.
It's a good question. There's an end credit though.
I done
Hold
cut it
on,
off now.
yeah, I'm
What's
looking
up,
at the
Terrence?
end credit now.
Hey, what's going on? Yep.
Hold on, I'm looking at the end credit now. The end credit is, of course, of Sylvie.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure in the coming hours. Yeah.
I mean, we already knew Sylvie was going to be in it, right? So,
Right. Right. Yep.
I don't know. I think they did a good job for a first episode. I think Danny popped back up.
Um.
Hold on.
It's interesting that you say that because I guess I'll have to like see what's going on with it. Because if it's decent, then that's fine. I would prefer to enjoy it a lot, but we'll see.
Well, this episode was basically trying to get him to stop jumping between timelines. So there was really nothing really significant yet. It's just that they showed that the TVA was supposedly going after Sylvia, but they're saying with so many they don't think it's Sylvia they're going after. There's something else involved. So
Right. I mean, I'll consume it for what it is, but based upon you said like how he was going from the past and the future, right?
mhm.
Naturally, my creative Marvel brain is automatically thinking like you could have used Cable and Bishop to make it infinitely more interesting, but they're not gonna do that though.
Yeah, you know that. So what was your issue with it, Danny?
Like I said, I probably couldn't see it right because he just run through the hole like he ain't had no rhyme or reason what he was doing, and I don't know. I gotta watch it again.
Oh yeah, you definitely gotta watch again because he did it. Basically, like I said earlier, just recently, that this episode was basically just trying to get him back, stop him from jumping between timelines, right?
Then
So,
why didn't we see Kang at all?
like I said, I don't think Kang is gonna have a big, huge role in this series. I think he's just gonna be like when he goes to that time and we see him. I think that's the only episode we're really gonna see Kang in. I don't think he's gonna be huge
Yeah,
because I read somewhere that he's not gonna be huge.
but did he?
What was that? You chipped out a bit. Yeah, you chipped out a bit. Go ahead.
So did he? That's
All I heard is "did he?" That's it. You chipped out. Still bad connection, brother. Anybody that's still in the chat, let me know what you guys thought of it. Did you guys like it? I think it's solid for first episode. I think it's solid. You know what I mean? Again, and I'll have to go back and watch it too because I missed a few things in there. So I don't really think that it progressed maybe the story of what happened in season one, because it just seemed to me like from what I seen, all they tried to do was trying to get him to stop from going from back and forth into the future. But I mean,
See,
I'm not. Yeah, go ahead.
no, just like I don't know if that's gonna be enough because the first episode is always important. That's the one where you want to get the conversation going, and
Mhm.
Marvel really needs that. They need that like right out the gate because like instead of like, oh, should I just wait until the episode's finished? Like because if it just does what it's supposed to do, then it's just like I don't know if that's a good thing right now. Like we need like all the bangers we can get. Like I'm talking
Absolutely.
about from start to finish. Like no like it's just fine or no messing up the finale or none. I'm talking about like straight fire. Like that's what we need because they having problems, Alzo, and I don't like that they're having so many problems when especially when I can think of countless ways to avoid it. But it don't seem like they trying. It's like they're waiting to get to something that they're just like, yeah, everybody's gonna show up anyway. I'm like, maybe, but you better stop doing that before they not show up. You better be
No,
careful.
I agree, but I think first let me say Anik Jones said it was good. I agree with you. And Anik Jones, you said something about somebody on one of the streams the other night, and you were 100% correct. You were 100% correct. You were absolutely 100% correct. You might remember what I'm talking about. I'm not going to really say it on here, but you were correct. I don't want them to blow their shot in the first episode. I'd rather them make the major points towards the end of the season. I agree. I just don't want them to wait until the last episode to put everything into context. You know what I mean? I agree with you. I like the way it started off, right? Because we still don't have really a clue of what's going on. So there's a mystery there. And I like that. I like when they keep us mystery. I like when they keep a little bit of mystery. You know what I mean? So I like that.
Um, okay, so here's the thing, right? Like whenever I hear humans say they don't want them to blow their wad or blow the big shot the first time around, that
Hmm.
is with that kind of thinking, that is bad when it comes to storytelling because if you have an overall good story, specifically with a series, because that's what we're talking about, there is no blowing all your wad the first episode. There's the got you, and then you make them think that you blew your whole wad, and then you continue to impress them time and time again throughout. And then you have the little cool down period, just when they think, oh yeah, they ain't got nothing else, and then you hit them off with that finale. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but you and I both know that most shows, especially the Marvel shows, don't do that.
Right, right. That's very true, and I that's why I was saying what I was saying earlier. I was like, I don't care what anybody says. Um, I will take the best episodes of Agents of Shield every day, all day, and nobody else is gonna say that because everybody disrespects Agents of Shield. But I'm telling you right now, Anzo, because you didn't see that show, I was like, yep. Whatever episode they try to bring up of this Disney Plus stuff, I'll be like, okay, let me counteract that with this episode of Agents of Shield. And every time they say something, I'm gonna counteract it with like another one. Like I can just do it all day.
No, I agree with you on that one. I agree that Agents of Shield so far is better than any of the Disney shows that came out. 100%. Like I really enjoyed Agents of Shield. I still don't think that anything has. Well, Secret Invasion came close until the end, but it still never went over the top. But Danny, you were saying something before you left.
I was saying, those stick they used to destabilize the people. Then
Hmm.
he take one of those sticks and then put on the wall, and it showed the Kang world
Yeah,
underneath
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm saying, well, Kang apparently has some kind of influence on there.
Yeah, right. And I hopefully they explain that, because it seemed like when he went into the past, there was that big, you seen it there, he was looking right at it, and then he went to the future, it was gone, and he had to hit this wall with it. So maybe they'll explain why they covered it up or something like that. It's just curious because it shows that he was in the past and the future, right? But when we see episode or the first season, that statue is not Kang, right? So did they change the statue? I don't know. It's
I
weird.
thought it was King last season.
You talking about the final shot? Because the final shot was Kang as the statue.
Right, right. But I'm talking about before that final shot. They showed a
Oh
statue
yeah.
of Kang, right?
Yeah.
Right. So if he's traveling between the past and the future, then because when he gets to okay,
Before King, it was like 3 different people, right? Like 3.
Yeah. I think there were the timekeepers or whatever they were.
Yeah.
Right. And then when he came back from there, they showed it was Kang, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe he's
So
traveled. No, but go
what?
ahead.
So what is your question exactly? Because granted I haven't seen the episode. I would know exactly what you're talking about if I did. But like, what are you trying to say? Like in terms of your question, like what are you trying to figure out?
So if he's traveling between the past and the future, right? Because when he goes to the past, they don't know who he is, right? So when we see that end scene and season 1, and he sees Morbius, and Morbius like, "Who are you?" And he's like, I'm Loki," right? They don't know it ends, right? We see the statue, but then he travels back to the future, and that statue is not Kang; it's the 3 of them again. So did they change the statues between the times? You know what I mean? Like in the past, it's Kang, but in the future, it's not. So did they
Okay,
change
so
the statues?
the way that it's supposed to work is whenever you do one small thing, it's supposed to change a bunch of stuff, right? I don't I don't know if they're smart enough to do that kind of stuff, at least not immediately, right? Like maybe, as I continue to watch it, I'm like, oh, they actually got the time travel stuff right for a change. But I don't think they're that smart. They haven't proven that. So I don't know if that's like a weird continuity error or they want us to pay attention to certain things as a means of a distraction. And then that's when they get us with a surprise. But I feel like, at least as it stands of now, it seems more of like accidental sloppiness as opposed to like, wow, this is so smart and well planned. But we'll see.
Yeah, I gotta watch it again to see, because I gotta watch that part and see, right? Because again, it doesn't make sense that if he goes to the past, it's a statue of Kang, then goes back to the future, and it's totally different statues. And it's not like it's a different timeline. I thought, because that's the original thought, that he went to a different timeline and popped back, but they show something in this series that it's actually is the same timeline. It's just he's going back in the past and future. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, if it okay, so uh that it's just the more I'm thinking about like how stupid Reed Richards is. Like the way he was trying to explain the idea of the timelines, the incursion and the multiverse. Like while they intersect, there are differences with how that works. So if it is the exact same timeline, there has to be something specific that has changed that would warrant a switch of that importance to be like that continuously, at
oh,
least for any given period of time.
hold on. We will not be shitting on Multiverse of Madness tonight. That's not what we are doing over here. All right.
Hanzo, you okay? So you already know what I said about that movie. I enjoyed it, but that shit was made no sense and it was dumb as hell. Sometimes I can enjoy stuff, but it's dumb. It's just the narrative and the characters, and we all know, and you know too, Anzo. If Reed Richards would have been 2% of what he is in the comics, that movie would have ended in 2 minutes. It would have been done. But my boy, he let me down. That's why he died. In fact, I'm glad he's dead because I'm like, we don't need him in the universe. He's too damn dumb. Like you and I are smarter than him, Anzo.
You comic guys need to get with the fact that these movies are not the comics. You're gonna have to get that you're gonna have to accept that sooner or later. That these
Oh,
movies.
trust me. Hey, trust me. As you know, I've already accepted it because if I didn't, I wouldn't be watching any of these shows or movies. But at the same
Yeah,
time, though, but as I mentioned before, though, the humans, I'm like, look, just because it's accurate, don't make it good. Just because it's inaccurate, don't make it bad. However, there is a middle ground and a fine line to where there's certain shit where I'm like, okay, that's just flat out fucking disrespectful right there. Like, I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm not gonna let you get away with this. But I was like, if you're gonna do a bunch of silly shit, you can at least entertain me. So I did enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy everything in it because that shit, certain things I can't suspend my belief that much. I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Ninja said, I don't know how I feel about this episode. I enjoyed it, right? I understand that it probably didn't progress the story along, really, not much. You know what I mean? I'll have to go back because me and Terrence were talking, so I couldn't hear everything that they were saying. But I'll go back and watch it again. But yeah, it didn't really progress the story as much as a whole, right? It was just Loki trying to stop from traveling from time to time. We did get Kang's voice in there for a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. I enjoyed it for a first episode.
It's interesting. Yep. So the other day, yeah, my friends and I, we were throwing around theories about what's happening, this whole TVA thing, and this whole thing that they're attempting to do with Deadpool 3 and how the TVA may be involved. I'm like, if they're smart, Deadpool will pop up in the last episode, messing up the timeline because if they're as smart as I want them to be, then they will loosely adapt Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, and then it's just specifically taking out Fox characters to usher in the new characters that the MCU can bring in. Because the TVA going after Deadpool because he's hopping through timelines, that actually makes sense. But as I was shopping that around between friends, I was like, that shit is too smart for them. I just don't believe they could handle that kind of shit. And then I'm like, even if they did, they're gonna drop the ball. It's just like they're gonna get me excited, like, oh my god, they finally did something that I said they should have did, like to a T. But then I'm just like, nah, there's got to be a catch or something. And then they're gonna get me. Now I'm gonna watch it, and they're gonna do something fucking stupid somewhere in there.
So is the TVA in the comic books?
Yes, there is a TVA in the comic books. So the TVA in the comic books are pretty much like what you have in the MCU, except that they're not as prevalent. They're more like side characters. They kind of exist, but they're essentially void when you deal with characters like Doctor Doom and Kang and Reed Richards. It's like those characters don't really need them to do anything because they tend to solve stuff on their own.
Do they have any like big TVA guys like where okay, they're following usually one guy who's a leader or something like that, or it's just like a bunch of random people?
Based upon what I read, there's not like really a big main one. There's like like a boss, but they're essentially so much in the background that you don't really need to focus on them as heavily
So are they
as
born in there, or are they picked from time?
well, depending on if you're talking about the 616, which is the main Marvel universe, or like the multiverse as a whole, you have sections where they're sort of incorporated into that, and then others where they're plucked from different universes to be part of that type of organization that monitors time. But Kang himself, within the context of Marvel, he remedies all that because he literally defeats everyone within the Marvel universe. Like, he only ended up losing because he was defeated by himself, by a younger version of himself, which is interesting. So technically, he should very well kill all of them, like how in Quantum Mania, how he was talking about, like, oh, I fought so many Avengers and defeated them. Are you the one with the hammer? And he couldn't tell the difference anymore. I'm like, that portion is actually very accurate, and they should show that. Like how Thanos beat the shit out of the Avengers in Infinity War. Kang should do the same thing, but just in a more complex way, like in different timelines. That should be whatever Kang Dynasty is, and then if they're smart, they can use that to bring in the Beyonder, and because he's been monitoring all that, and then he could just gather all those characters up and put them on Battle World, and then they could just fight and kill each other for a reward, and that'll shape the Marvel universe to come after that.
Hey Danny, you notice how every time Terrence talks about what they should do, it has to do with everybody killing each other. It's like, yeah, let's get everybody together, just have a slaughterhouse of
I,
superhero.
There
I
ain't
mean,
gonna be
I
no
mean
more
to
characters left after that.
I mean,
Fact.
to be fair, that storyline, Secret Wars, that was meant to sell toys, that's what it entails, is those characters getting killed. Now, you know, the whole point is that obviously you're not going to kill every single one of them, but a lot of them dies. But humans have to remember that because of the stuff that they may be doing with the multiverse, you could have them pull characters from other universes and put them in the main one, universe 19999. Thank you, Aman Vellani, for telling Kevin Feige he was dumb for saying it's the 616. It's not. Thank you, Aman. But yeah, that's what they can do. But the weird part is, I don't want them to do that with like pretty much all the characters, because then it'll be weird. Like, I don't want them to be like, we're gonna kill off the Fox mutants to do our own, but we're going to pluck them from other universes where they're already established and just make them
So,
part of the main universe.
so here's the thing, and I know Danny will agree with this. I know she can tell Kevin Feige, hey, Kevin Feige, no, that's the 999, it's not the 616. But Kevin Feige is the boss. So if he says it's the 616, it's the 616.
Well,
Simple as plain.
Pretty
I
much.
mean, just like how when they had a recent interview with Kevin Feige and John Favreau, uh, John Favreau told him there are countless fans in the world that know more about Marvel than you do, which Kevin Feige agreed to. And I'm just like, yes, there's plenty of us that know way more than him. He's just in a creative position to usher in what he wants. But no matter what he says, the 616 is the comics. It's not his MCU. That is a separate universe because they're not even remotely the same, as you have characters that are not there that should be there, characters that were killed that should not have been killed, and so on and so on. The list goes on indefinitely about the immeasurable differences between those main storylines and what you would get with adaptions.
If Disney wants to film in Canada, they have to get the green light from Onzo. Oh yeah, they can film. They can film up here as long as I get like an extra role or something, or I get to watch. Yeah, I give them permission.
Extra shit. I want to be a main character, a sidekick
Yeah.
at least.
Oh, so do I. So do I, Danny. But I know they ain't gonna give that to me, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be good if I could just walk down the street and interact with someone. Kind of like, hey, look, Cap, how you doing, Cap? And then keep walking or some shit. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. But
They say, yeah, you can walk down, but you got to wear a Commander's jersey.
oh, for sure. I wear whatever fucking jersey you want me to wear. Now, if you ask me to,
So,
you ask me to wear a dress, that's a different story. No, I'll pass. Like, I'm good.
and then sometimes you could build a
$100,000.
story like
Wear a dress and cover your
Hold on.
cover your hood, cover your face.
And that no one will know it's me?
Nobody but us.
No, nobody has to know it's me. Not just nobody but you. Nobody. Like, hey, did you see that black dude in the dress? Yeah, I seen him. I can't believe that motherfucker did that shit, making us look bad and shit. You know what I mean? What kind of bullshit?
I'm the hair. I have the I have the arrows here. Anzo. This is Anzo.
Yeah, that's why nobody can know it's me. You know what I mean? You want to give me $100K to do it to cover up my face and no one knows me? Yeah, for sure. 100%. But the minute
yeah,
someone knows it's me, it wasn't me.
yeah. And then I was thinking about like how like how like we haven't gotten like the casual Doctor Doom. Like, I'm not talking about the Doctor Doom Kang variant that we saw at the end of Quantum Mania. It's like, yeah, I spotted that the outfit he was wearing, that is very much a thing, which is cool. But I'm talking about the main Victor Von Doom. Like how we haven't gotten him yet.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to get them before the whole Secret Wars thing, which is what makes that supposed to be as cool as it can be, is because by then those characters are already established. And when Doctor Doom, even though he shows up with the other villains and you got like really all the heroes versus all the villains kind of thing, which would be amazing just in theory, but it's like there needs to be a setup. And it also, like, the fact of Doctor Doom like trying to upstage all the other villains. He's like, screw Galactus, screw you, I'm Doctor Doom. I'm going to get the prize so the Beyonder can reward me. And then like how you got, Wolverine mad at the Avengers because, they're not mutants. Like, fuck you, Cap. You're not a mutant. You're not Charles Xavier. You don't get to tell the mutants what to do. We are our own faction. Like, just to see those different divides within the Battle World scenario is what made that so cool. So without it, it just seems to be like it'll be random placements. So that's like one of my many concerns.
So here's the thing I'll say about Daredevil, because it's not Daredevil, Deadpool. It's obviously that he's in another universe, right? Like he's in another timeline. So I do believe that they're going to, if the TVA is going to be in it, it's because he is jumping through timelines. So maybe he is going to be doing what you said he's going to do. Maybe they are smart enough.
How does he have that power?
That would be.
But Deadpool has that power in the comics. Like he is meant to be a parody. So in the comics, like he jumps from different universes and timelines. Like even his wacky story of him killing the Marvel universe, and there's like multiple of those stories. I read one of them, but he kills everyone. Like,
but he has a teleportation power, or is this something that just happens? Does he control it, or is something that
so
happens?
That's a good question. So in the context of his own stuff, like picture this dude is able to just acquire not only technology, but in the event that he's not using a device to teleport or time travel, he's just hopping between panels. Like he just does it. And most of the time, there's no large explanation. It's just like, it's because I'm Deadpool. Like it's just like, well, how did you get to this universe over here and you didn't use a device? It's like, well, I just decided to do it because I wanted to mess everything up. I'm like, that's what his character does. So in the context of the movies, what they'll probably do is, you remember how at the end of Deadpool 2, like, the whole device that Cable was using that allowed Cable to travel? He's probably going to fix that and use that to hop between the different universes to make it more simplistic for non-comic book readers, so that way they can follow it with some sort of sense, right? Like he's probably going to use that, and then that's how he's going to, get over into the MCU, and then probably Hugh Jackman Wolverine is going to, try to stop him, and then they'll end up tussling, and as a result, a lot of those characters are going to get right. They both end up in the MCU in that sense, and then because of the fractures of everything that's going on top of that, it could also cause other characters that are unaware of it to accidentally slip over, and then they start seeing things like, wait, where's so and so? And I'm telling you, like, it's too smart for them to handle. I'm just like, oh God, there's too many ways that this could go wrong. But that's more or less of what they could do. And then it's just like, okay, if you bring in some Fox characters, because apparently the mutants are there because of that terrible stuff they did with Miss Marvel, right? It's just like, okay, where the hell has Apocalypse been all this time? Or Amal Farouk, the Shadow King? Both of them are like older than time and shit. So I'm like, you mean to tell me that they were just somehow dispensed in the MCU and never once came to Earth to do anything of any significance? Like that sort of placement I want to see how they handle, because that's weird. It would actually make more sense if you take them from another universe and bring them over, and then maybe they get upset because they're like, wait a minute, I killed Charles, and how is he still alive? Then it's like, oh crap, he's from another universe where he killed his Charles or whatever. And then you get the Patrick Stewart one, fighting him for the first time or something. There's ways around that, but it's really about the execution and how smart they are. It doesn't matter who they bring if the execution is not on point. We'll just get a bunch of, cameos, and it's like, yay, but then the story is shit, which is what I don't want.
This is for you, T. Brandon Davis said, T-Virus, I wanted to tell you, you crazy if you wouldn't deal with a woman over 50. Michelle Yu would get it. Selma Hayek, Elizabeth Hurley, Helen Mirren, Janet, the Queen of Wakanda, Rosie Perez.
Okay, this is another situation where humans don't pay attention to the shit that I say. Once again, when I said that in general, I don't go for women over 50, it just means in general. There are exceptions which is what I said. You can name a Jennifer Lopez and all the ones that you name, sure, but in terms of the vast majority, it's not going to happen like that. So that's what I said. Not so much like, oh, if she's like 50 or older, I would never consider that. That's not what I said. There's always going to be exceptions.
Not exactly a great list. What are we talking about here? I don't know Michelle Yu. Not sure who that is.
Oh,
Some.
Michelle Yeoh, she was in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, okay. Could she get it? Yeah, she could probably
Yeah,
get it.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Super
She could.
Cop with Jackie Chan. Yeah.
Oh, Selma Hayek could
Oh
get it
yeah,
in
of course.
second, 100%. Janet
Right.
Jackson,
Right. Like
100%.
these
Angela
are
Bassett, 100%,
See,
100%.
these are exceptions, also. That's what I was talking about. I'm like, there's always going to be that human. Like when I say like ordinarily or most of the time, they're going to be like, what about this one, Terrence? I'm like, well, that's an exception. Like I don't like. It's just that sometimes in life, like there there are some things though, as I told you on, there ain't gonna be no exception, period. But more often than not, there will be a couple of exceptions. But that's why it's called an exception. That means that that's not the generalized thing. That's not gonna happen 99% of the time. Because otherwise, if that were the case, if the percentage were that high, or if my interests were that high, then I wouldn't say something as specific as that. I would just be like, oh, it doesn't matter if the likelihood is much higher.
I'm trying to look for it because I know Warren sent me and he says not sure, but he sent. Oh, it wasn't Warren. It was actually G Major sent it to me. The season 2 What If episodes. Episode 1, Nebula joins the Nova Corps. What if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes? What if Kohora, I don't know who that is, reshaped the world? What if Hela found the 10 rings? What if Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster? What if Happy Hogan saved Christmas? I don't know about that one. What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? What if the Avengers assembled in 1602? And what if Strange Supreme intervened?
Um. Okay. Like, can you hear me, Anzo?
Yeah.
Uh, so what if I enjoyed certain episodes and then other ones I just didn't care about?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna watch it, and I'm guessing a few of those will be really good, and then it'll probably be like how I felt about the first season. It'll be somewhere I'm like, yeah, this is dope, and then others that I just like, I don't care. Um, Really, out of all the Disney Plus projects, like if I think about ones that I enjoyed through and through, would be like the Falcon and Winter Soldier is my favorite one, and then Werewolf by Night, and then
Mhm.
that's probably it in terms of like the whole time. You know what I mean? The rest
Yeah,
is like, like
yeah. You didn't
at
like
least for yeah.
you,
Wait, go
you
ahead.
didn't like Secret Wars, right? I put Secret Wars up there, but you didn't like it.
So okay, here's the thing with Secret Invasion, right? Like even when I tried to divorce my knowledge, I was just like I had an issue with the storytelling. I was just like it reminded me of like something where they tell you that the budget is like 200 million, but you ain't got no Avengers. I was just
Hmm.
like, and then like the writing of like, oh, I'll just handle this myself. I'm like, shouldn't Captain Marvel pop up? Like you guys were up in space. Like she has a relationship with the scrolls, mostly negative, but it just like there were many opportunities where it should have been a lot bigger than it was. But a lot of times it just felt like a fan film to me. I'm like, how are you not using anybody? I'm like, something as significant as this, there is no you're gonna do it on your own. Because according to Talos, they did everything anyway, according to him. And which I didn't like. Remember that conversation, Anzo?
Hmm.
That he had with Nick. He's like, yeah, we did that. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
that
like,
was
excuse me, where were y'all like the first three phases? You did what? I'm like, so the iconic Nick Fury, who is so cool that when he had a race change in the comics, it was still cool that somehow he ain't did nothing. It was just some green alien that no one cares about if the Fantastic Four are not around. Like, really?
Brian said my problem. Oh, Danny, I don't know if you got the list. I read it out just earlier, but I'll read it out for you. G Major sent it to me. It was the list for the shows for What If Season 2. So the first one is What If Nebula joined the Nova Corps?
Can you hear me?
What if? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear it? Yeah, the first one was What If Nebula joined the Nova Corps? What if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes? What if Kahora? I don't know who that is. It's Kahahori. I don't know who that is. Kahora shaped the world. The next one is What if Hela found the 10 rings? Next one is What if Iron Man crashed into Grandmaster? What if Happy Hogan saved Christmas? What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? What if the Avengers assembled in 1602? And what if Strange Supreme intervened? So I don't know which. I said some of them sound good, and some of them sound okay.
Some of them I don't have a clue.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Rob, what's up?
Yeah.
For me, thumbs up.
I gotta watch it again, Rob. I didn't fully get it.
And Terrence didn't watch it yet either.
So
but go ahead, you were saying?
You said, did you say Supreme Strange?
Yeah, Supreme Strange.
Well, you heard what I said a long time ago. I'm just like, Doctor Strange, power-wise, is one of the most hacked Marvel characters, period. Like, so it's weird to me how they're going to do a what if, and I'm probably going to see, like, remember when they did the what if with him the other time? That was one of my favorite episodes, by the way. I'm just like, where was this one in the MCU? Where was this Doctor Strange? Like, what the hell? Like, so that's why, like, I can get excited for those, but then it pisses me off. Like, remember when they did the Ultron one, how badass he was in there, but he was a bitch in the MCU and didn't do nothing? I was like, why didn't you do this with the other one? It's so weird when they do that shit.
I agree. Yeah, like I said, Rob, I did enjoy this episode. Danny said I have to watch it again. I too have to watch it again too. But yeah, it's not bad. I think it was a good start. I definitely think it was a good start.
Tell you what though, I'm definitely glad that they did Loki season 2 over WandaVision season 2 because I didn't want to see no more of that shit. But yeah.
Well, we're getting Agatha. I think that's even worse than WandaVision too.
Absolutely, it's worse because even though I said like in the context of the comics, Agatha is kind of cool, but remember Anzo about the whole not everybody needs their own show and movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like Echo a lot, especially because I'm a Daredevil fan. Echo is badass. Like she was able to fight Daredevil and pretty much almost killed Daredevil in that fight. And then she stopped because she realized that Daredevil was Matt Murdock, the guy she was in love with. So I was like, Echo is a beast. I even liked Echo and Hawkeye. But to give her a 6-8 episode show, I'm like, why?
Wait, hold on. Let me see. Oh, no. Yeah. It says your mic's, when I click on your little icon here, it says your mic's not connected, Danny. It says, can I mute? I guess your mic is not connected.
How about now?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I muted just now because I'm trying to do paperwork and talk to y'all at the same time.
Oh, I got you. What was it you were saying, though? Because you were saying something, but you were muted.
I said that I like Agatha Harkness.
So are you excited for her show, though?
I'm excited. I'm not excited about it. Like I told you earlier, I'm very interested in this Loki. Not excited. I'm more excited about what I told you, like the Star Wars. I'm really, based on what I've read and research and then what I've been told by other people, I want to see where they want to go with that. I'm excited for that. For this Loki, based on what I saw in the car, and like I said, I was watching with the small phone versus my bigger phone that got more, I can see better. And plus, the sound was kind of choppy. I'm going to watch it because it'll probably come up on my system tomorrow. So I'll definitely watch it. But excited is not very interested. It's more accurate description.
See, and that. Wait, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, would you have rather WandaVision season 2 or the Agatha Harkness series?
If they're gonna show what happened to the White Vision, I want to see that. I'm interested in. I mean, he's a very important character
And
in
just
the comic books, and just disappear, and like nobody seems to care.
That
I want to see.
Oh
that.
my God! That whole White Vision. I hope I never see that character again. I will toss my popcorn at the screen. I don't want to see that nigga again. He didn't do nothing. Like this whole I finally realized what I must do, and he just flew away. I was like, "Are you coming back, sir? You know, we need you, man. Like you technically way more powerful than Wanda anyway. 9 times out of 10. Where are you going? Agatha's wilding out. Okay, I guess he's done. I don't want to see him again. I don't even want to see Agatha again, but I'm gonna, sit through her show knowing that at least it's only a few episodes, and maybe Wanda will show up temporarily and reveal to us that once again, she hasn't learned anything, or maybe she will finally let us know that she understands what accountability is, since nobody else is holding her accountable.
Logic. You can tempt all this. You can feel utter contempt for this stuff and think it's idiotic, and then watch it. I would not do that.
Okay, so this is once again, I am a huge Marvel and DC fan. They will never be able to do anything to where I'm like, I ain't gonna watch it. So
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I'm not watching
Andor.
It ain't happening.
Yeah, Andor was boring. I watched that whole thing with some friends. Cause see, that's another thing. Like, if certain things I don't watch, my friends, like some of them or all of them maybe will want to watch it, and then I'll just end up watching it by default. So there's a difference between stuff that I put on and stuff that I just see because of my crew.
I've been like Deuce's crew. I'll be back when this is over.
So
I probably wouldn't leave, but I'd be on my phone a lot. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna do all that. But it's one of those things because within the group, on a regular basis, there's 8 to 10 of us. Sometimes the girls want to watch some shit we don't want to see, right? As fellas and shit, and then we just we not gonna dip out. But yeah, we'll watch it. But when we want to watch something, and y'all like, oh, we don't care about this. I'm like, no, remember we sat through this shit. So it's like a full circle thing. But
I would physically be there, but I guarantee you'd be hearing something like this.
Yeah, we know.
So, but that's the thing though. So, even like with WandaVision, like when it started.
Hold on, Terrence. Just let me say this real quick. But we are talking about the same person who watched all fucking seasons of Batwoman.
We have been over this. We have been over this countless times. We have been over this countless times.
Did you watch Gotham Knights too, Terrence?
No, I stopped after the second episode because that shit was trash.
I knew you had it in you. I knew you had it in you.
I stopped, but okay. So I watched the first one and then the second one. I shouldn't have watched the second one, and thankfully none of the friends wanted to watch that shit. I was like, thank God. What the fuck? I was just like, because I was like, I swear if one of y'all like, oh man, it don't look that bad, I'd have just tossed somebody out the fucking window for that shit. But no, after the second episode, I'm like, I'm not doing Batwoman again. Gotham Knights is done. That shit is done. I pulled every ounce of energy out of me just to get to the second one. I was just like, let me see what the hell they gonna do. And then I was just like,
they showed how Batman got killed. Then they showed his suit. His suit was like something I made for Halloween. I was like, nah.
You see, you guys further than I did. I watched like the first maybe 10 minutes, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
You made the right decision. Now, see, at least with like movies and stuff, like because they're short, it's like I can watch it, and then if I don't like it, it won't necessarily get replayed as much. That's all. Like the Marvels, right? I'm gonna go see that in IMAX. Like some humans were telling me, like, oh, you don't support Marvel. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? I bet you I go see these Marvel movies way more than you do, and I fucking own them on Blu-ray and 4K. What do you mean? And I was just like, I'm gonna go as soon as them tickets drop. Me and my friends, we get in the IMAX, not standard. We get in the IMAX to the Marvels, even though we ain't excited about that shit. It's still Marvel, and I'm gonna watch it, and then I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna enjoy it. because it
You
just from
see,
the trailer.
I'm going to see the Marvels too, but there's no fucking way am I watching that in IMAX. I'm not doing it. I'm going to the cheapest theater I can find to watch that movie. I'm not watching it.
Also, trust me, I was thinking about it. I was like, is this gonna be the one where I break my pattern of IMAX for these comic book movies? Is this gonna be the one? I was like, nah, I'll do it.
I think I asked you this earlier, Anzo. I don't mean to interrupt you, Terrence. But did you watch Gran Torino?
You mean the
The movie about the gamer that
Oh
was
no, I didn't watch it yet. No, I didn't watch it.
man, that movie is good.
No, I
I
didn't watch
watched
it. I
it
Yep,
heard
last
it.
night.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Based on
Mm-hmm.
a true story.
Yeah, you liked it too?
Man, that,
Ooh,
I was like, let me get this a chance. And man, I got sucked into it. I ain't went to bed about what 12:31 o'clock last night watching that thing.
Yep.
Really?
That shit was good. Look, but
It was
okay,
good.
here's the thing.
It's a
Gran
sleeper.
Turismo. Okay, so I was like, first of all, how you gonna make a movie about Gran Turismo? Those games have no story, right? So I was just like, this is about to be one of those typical terrible video game adaptation movies. And then one of my friends like, T man, if you down to go see Gran Turismo, I'm like, yeah, if you want to go, like I ain't excited about it. Shout out to David Harbour from Stranger Things, but I'm like, I ain't excited. So we went, and 10 minutes into the movie, I was like,
That guy who was his coach, he should get an
yeah,
award.
you talking
Really?
about David Harbour from Stranger
Yeah,
Things?
yeah, he needs to be nominated for Oscar.
He's been overdue. Like the thing is, like before Stranger Things, like nobody believed in him as an actor, and it wasn't until that they gave him the Hopper role in that amazing show, then everybody was like, "Oh my God, David Harbour!" I'm like, but he's always been good. He was just not really given the chance that he deserved. So
Yeah,
then you see him in Gran Turismo,
he
boy.
was really good in that movie, boy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everybody was firing there. I was like, I felt like I was in those cars. I was racing, and I got cold too, because when it was nighttime and it was raining and shit.
And the
Danny.
way they would show how when he's driving, then he driven so many that car in that game so much he could tell every little thing about the actual real car. And the guy didn't believe him at first. He's like, man, the reason I couldn't brake, man, because wheels something wrong with them tires. And he said, okay, we're gonna have the guys check it out. And the guys check it out. He said, I don't know how he knew it, but something's wrong with it. And then man,
You see,
It,
very good movie.
The thing with that game, Gran Turismo, it's one of the realest racing games that you can get. It's almost like
right.
a simulation. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
that's
That
what he
that's
said.
that's
Three
yeah.
of those gamers, they won the Le Mans. Cause that Le Mans, that's that race where you drive one car 24 hours straight.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you rotate drivers.
Mhm.
They did that and they won it. And it's based on a true story. I never knew that. I never knew
Yeah.
that till
I didn't know that either.
last night. But man,
And that
Yeah,
and that was a brilliant decision too to do
uh-huh.
that, because
Yep.
it when something doesn't have a story, a smart person can take the base concept of the game or whatever it is and build a story around it. So them like, okay, we're going to use this true story and use it in combination with Gran Turismo, the game series, was a brilliant idea. Like I was intrigued by that when I heard about it. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that true story stuff, but just the idea of like, okay, they're pulling from something, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're just making stuff up now. All right, but then it's just like, no, it's a true story. Like, okay, that this infinitely became more interesting. And then as I was watching it, I'm like, man, this is like one of the best movies of 2023, and I can say that because I just watch everything like all the time, like especially movies. I'm more of a movie guy than shows anyway, but like I'm the proponent of like I gotta see everything once, and then if I don't like it, I never need to see it again. But I was like, yeah, I'll get to Gran Turismo. So I ended up watching it sooner thanks to some friends, because I was gonna wait to watch that shit, but I was glad that they were just like, hey, let's do it in IMAX with all the racing and stuff. I'm like, $20 for Gran Turismo? Are you sure? All right, fine. And, it was like one of the best decisions I made this year. Yep.
See, that's me because I was sleeping on it too, right? I'm like, yeah, I'll wait. You know what I mean? When there's one of those nights where I ain't got nothing to watch, I'll watch it. But now that you guys are telling me that it's really good, then it's gonna give me an incentive to be like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna watch this movie now
I tend to gravitate toward movies that's based on true stories anyhow.
Me too. I like them too. I like stories that are based on true stories, especially when they kind of stay true to the stories. When they go off the deep end and add certain stuff for dramatic stuff like that, kind of. But when they stay true to the story, it's really good.
Well, it depends. It's kind of like
At the end, they show the picture how he looked and stuff.
Oh yeah,
they were spot on almost with the actor that played him.
Yeah. All the actors they got were really good. But
but not the guy that played the Wizard Shazam. He didn't like that daddy.
No, I mean like in terms of the actors, they all did a good job.
Yeah.
But it like I was gonna say that it just depends on what it is because, for example, like when they did Dragon, the Bruce Lee story in the '90s with Jason Scott Lee. Number one, that movie was approved by Linda Lee, which is the only approval that you need. Is the man's wife. It don't matter what nobody else says. So you had that going for it, and they added a detail into the story, like they took elements that did happen, which was him having to face the Chinese masters from China because they didn't want him to teach
Kung Fu.
the Americans. So then. When he got his back injured in the context of that movie, it was because a martial artist kicked him in the back. But in reality, it was that he hurt his back when he was lifting weights. And then that's how he ended up being in the bed and he wrote his Jeet Kune Do book. But, Linda and them felt that it would have been better to have a fight scene that actually did happen, but mix it with the context of his injury. And I'm like, I'm completely fine with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's when they do like most of the movie like that, you know what I mean? Like if they just do, they do that the whole time. That's when, I don't really care for it as much. But I feel like it always depends on what it is. Because
when the movie starts and they say like based on facts, or then they're gonna add a lot more. But when they say based on a true story, it tends to show more of the stuff that actually happened.
Absolutely. And what I was going to say,
like facts, and like, they about to
well, I mean, there is the exceptions where we've seen it that's not true, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original movie. Like 90% of that crap is completely false.
Yeah. But I don't think they say based on a true story. I think they use, like Danny said, inspired by true events, right? So when they say something like that, they can switch it up and say, well, it's inspired by the event, but this is not the event.
But if you watch the beginning of that movie and how it ended, they were 100% passing that off like it went down just like that. It wasn't even until like way after the fact that humans found out that it didn't happen like that, because then they had to make the movie called Ed Gein, right? And it's just like that whole like the family thing and him being deformed and all that. Like he didn't do all that, and then he only killed 2 women, and it reminded him of his mother. That was not the movie. The movie was much more creative and horrific. They just used the element of the chainsaw. He's kind of different, big guy, and him using the chainsaw to kill people, but they exaggerated everything else to make it more interesting.
The one thing I was
based on true story.
Oh yeah, it actually was. But the one thing I was gonna say is, a lot of people, and even till this day, I think they kind of shit on people that play video games, right? But just look, like this is based on a true story, and it reminds me of Snakes in a Plane, right? Where the guy's like, "Hey, you can fly the plane, you can land it," and he's like, "Yeah, I had 70 hours," and it's like, "Oh, you're 70 hours in a video game." But those simulation games are so freaking realistic. Like, I'm not gonna say if you play them you can do it, but you'll know what to do. Like,
I think you learned a skill, but one thing they didn't learn, and I didn't realize is, he said the G-force in these cars is so incredible. Those simulators don't give you that feeling, because like when they first show them driving, man, they were like, when they hit the accelerator, man, they in the back seat almost. So they had to learn, and then he put them through a very stringent physical fitness routine, get them in shape and stuff. So,
but the thing is like a person would have to realize the full scope. Like number one, only like 1% of humans can be a race car driver anyway. To have the nerve to be able to do that, aside from the skill, right? It's this whole percentage bracket. And then I started thinking, and then I was telling my friends, I'm like, out of everyone that we know humans that do the same shit. None of us know race car drivers. Like, who do y'all know? And then they're like, no. I was like, exactly. So the fact that it's in a small percentage, that already intrigued me, that they're so rare. And then on top of that, it's less than 1% that you have individuals that can play a simulator and then be to the
Go do it
equivalent to
real.
where they can do it in real life. That's not a thing. Like, even like the scene that Danny was talking about when he figured out that there was something going on, he didn't believe him because that's not a thing. No one can do that shit but him. It's an anomaly. So like I tell humans, when something is unusual and it's anomaly, no one's gonna believe you until they see it or confirm it, because it never happens.
Yeah, I agree. And especially when you have a gamer telling you that, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, hey, there's something wrong. They're like, yeah, what the fuck you know about
Not,
cars? Like, you sitting at home playing a video game.
right. I mean, so like from my experience, I learned to like never dismiss anything, right? Like, even if it's like so bizarre, I still would want to find out, right? And you kind of see how it plays out in the movie, but like, there's certain things to where humans say, it's not possible, and it's like it is, but it's unlikely, right? Because I remember, like, you remember how I told you before about the whole martial arts training, and like how I had to train myself because the family wouldn't put me in it and stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
humans were telling me that shit's not possible. You can't watch the movies and stuff and learn. I was like, they just did a martial arts movie called Chocolate, where a chick who was mentally handicapped was able to go collect her mother's money because she was like, part of a Yakuza gang. And she watched the movies and implemented those moves to whoop everybody's ass with no formal training. And I was sitting there doing that. It wasn't to the extreme of that movie character, but it was close enough. So it wasn't until, real martial artists at the time, masters, told me like, wait, how did you do that? Who trained you? I was like, I trained myself. They're like, that's bullshit. That's not possible. Then my parents had to tell them, Terrence is telling you the truth, because they're like, it doesn't happen. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, that's cool. Thank you for confirming that I could do something. But sometimes that happens. And when you have stuff like that, that can make for very compelling stories in terms of, big screen movies.
Yeah, got you. I got you. But yeah, man, it was a great stream, guys. Well, I think we're going for 2 hours. We'll close it up for the night. I've got to work tomorrow, but hey, man, it's Thanksgiving weekend, so I'm off for 3 days, so that's good. You know, make sure to check out. I don't know how we're gonna do it because again, we have the
You said
last.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, for us, Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh,
So
okay.
you guys have yours in November. We have ours in October.
Okay.
I don't know how we're gonna do the roundtables because there's the Loki one we gotta do now, and then we still gotta finish the last episode of Ahsoka. So we'll figure that one out. Terrence, did you like the last episode of Ahsoka?
Nah, not really. Like, so okay, so real quick, this how I felt. So episodes 1 through 3, boring. Episode 4 and 5, great. Like, episode 5 to me was the best I've seen from Disney Star Wars. You know what I mean? Because like before that, I had The Mandalorian, and then I had Rogue One. But that episode 5, I was like, why wasn't the whole show like episode 5? Like, I was able to watch that even though I didn't see Clone Wars or none of that shit, and that shit was still epic to me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, so technically I was like an outsider, and I was like, this shit is amazing. And then my friends like, oh my god, T, oh man, like in the animation, and we were both excited, but one was coming from it of like, ignorance, and the other one was like, coming from it from experience. But we had the same reaction to it, right? Like, we were like in the same mind. Then you get to episode 6, and I was like, it's all right. It ain't no episode 4 or 5. It's all right. Then you get to episode 7, I was like, this is good. I liked it better than 6. And then you get to the finale, and I was like, I keep forgetting that Disney Plus, Disney in general, they have a way of breaking my fucking heart. They starting to piss me off. Like, that's like, they can't, they don't stick the landing. I'm like, it ain't terrible, but I was like, this is not as good as episode 4 and 5. What? I'm like, this whole show was about finding this nigga Ezra and getting him home. I was like, that was the whole show, and I was like, nah, man, I didn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I wish I would have liked it as much as episodes 4 and 5, or hell, even episode 7.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I wasn't a huge fan of it either. But what I will say, and I wanted to, Danny just left, but I'll say it when he comes back, and I'll say it again. Um, I think it's on Disney Plus. It's the making of, I think it's episode 5 actually, right? But they talk about one thing they talk about on there that what I liked is that George Lucas was there when they were filming the Ahsoka episode for Mando, right? And George Lucas pretty much gave his blessings to Dave Filoni, right? A lot of people out there. Okay, Danny's back. Danny, on Disney Plus, I was telling Terrence, you might not want to mute your mic again, but I was telling Terrence on Disney Plus that there's I think it's the making of episode 5, right? For the Ahsoka show. And basically they're talking about it, and they show in there that George Lucas was actually on the set of Mando, the Ahsoka episode. And basically Filoni said George Lucas told them, show Dave Filoni his respect. You know what I mean? So you know how there's a lot of people out there saying that, Filoni, he backstabbed George Lucas and he did this to George Lucas, but yet George Lucas approved of what he was doing.
I think he's approving of it. I think he's doing it the whole time, but people just, some of these people, I'm going to say all of them, some of these people haven't read all the Star Wars books, EU, canon, whatever you want to do. And you got to read all that stuff or have a knowledge of it before you come out here and say these crazy stuff that's based on ignorance. And the ignorance is not that you don't know that you're stupid or dumb. The ignorance is that you never heard of some of these stories and you don't know the details. So some of these people that have read those books and can point out stuff, I think Dave Filoni, based on what I've seen, he's writing it from the standpoint of not the casual fan. He's writing it from the standpoint of someone who is immersed in the Star Wars mythos. And if you don't read those books or even open your mind to some of those books and that look, unlike that stupid comment that Kathleen Kennedy said, there is source material, and Dave Filoni is tapping into that source material. That's what I believe.
Well, okay, so to my understanding, there's only so much of it that George Lucas approves of anyway, and I have yet to meet a single person that has, like, when it comes to all the books, all the comics, all the games, everything, like, they done read every single thing. Like, I haven't met a person like that. Just only they've read some of certain things, right? They have more knowledge than, say, the casual person, right?
I can't say all the books, but every single game, I do believe, Star Wars game, that Rob Storms has played it.
Well, like I said, it's the collection of everything, not just, certain things, right? Because there isn't a person like that. There's too much lore. But for the person that has dived into, like, the games or like a couple of the books here, a couple comics there, they're going to have more information. But, George Lucas only approves of so much of that anyway. So that kind of stuff doesn't really matter to me. Like, if George Lucas says that, I like this creator and I like what he or she did, then it's just like, even if I don't agree, I'd be like, well, you created Star Wars. I can respect that, even though if I don't agree. But that's like the greatest kind of seal of approval. Like, if they had me direct something Star Wars, I'd be like, what does George think? Oh man, everybody loves this. I don't give a fuck what humans think. What does George think? Can somebody call it? If everybody is telling me, oh, this is the best Star Wars, Terrence, and the lightsaber, and George Lucas tells me that shit is trash, I'm gonna be devastated. Because normally I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks, but the universal idea of respect, especially respecting the source material, I want to do that right. And if the main man is just like, nah, your shit is trash, I'm like, I fucked up. I did something wrong.
You see, and that's my thing. It's like, how can you sit there and complain and say that Filoni is stabbing George Lucas in the back when Filoni had George Lucas on the set? You know what I mean? To show him what he was doing and where he was going. And you cannot tell me that George Lucas didn't say, you know what, I like that, but maybe you should do this. And Filoni was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe we will do it like that. Or maybe he didn't. But at the end of the day, I think George Lucas gave his blessings to Dave Filoni. So
that's really cool. Yeah.
He's not disrespecting George Lucas. You know what I mean? What he's doing is he's trying to stay true, but also adding his own flavor to it, which is what any single person who had the opportunity to make a Star Wars movie would do.
See, and that's fair, right? But it's like I feel like again, as I've said many times, I'm like I feel like there would be a fine line between the flavor that I'm gonna add versus doing some wholly disrespectful shit, right? Like there has to be a fine line. So and then if I if I'm part of an interview or conducting an interview, like say I was talking to George Lucas, because I didn't know that he told Dave Filoni that, right? I'm talking to him, I'm like, man, say if I were to say like, man, I don't know about this Dave Filoni character, man, he was fucking up. And then George says to me, well, Terrence, I actually gave him my approval for episode 5. I'm like, oh shit, well, I didn't know that. Okay, fair enough. And then, I did enjoy it, but let's say if I didn't, I'd be like, hey, I still didn't like it, but now that I know that you approved of it, at least I know it's not a complete fail. You the main man. And I really wish that he would have never sold that shit to trash Disney. I wish he would have never did that shit, because as much as I did not like the prequels, I was thinking about the stuff that came after, and I was just like, fuck. Like it, because at least with the prequels, right, I enjoyed the fight scenes. I was just like, fuck the story. It didn't miss me with the story. But the fight scenes, right, the Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon and all that shit, right, the stuff in Revenge of the Sith, I was really digging the fighting, and I love fighting. But then Disney got it, and there's more fails than not. I mean,
I'm gonna show this before we go. Go ahead, Donnie. What are you saying?
I was commenting on this. That's the episode with Ahsoka, right?
Yeah. So watch.
And Lucas is definitely on the set.
And I think it was really encouraging of Dave stepping up to this role. And so George would turn to Kathy and myself and be proud of Dave. He was Dave's teacher, and Dave was his apprentice.
See, that's the now see, if I were there, right, I would have clapped, because me being a writer, I love when humans use the right words. There's certain things that just fucking tickle me, and I'm just like, he phrased it like that. I bow. I'm like, hey, I'm an apprentice too now. Forget all this noise. I'm like, hey, forget this. I'm an apprentice too. Like, that's dope. I like hearing certain words, and I respect that, because with Ahsoka, right, even though I didn't like the first 3 episodes, like, I'm glad we got 4 and 5, right? Fuck all the other episodes. 4 and 5, to me, I could rewatch those over and over, right? It is just like the fact that we got that, and I was like, I didn't like the Book of Boba trash, right? I didn't like Obi trash Kenobi. I didn't like those. Those were trash, right? The Book of trash Kenobi. I didn't like that. I would rather watch Ahsoka all day over those 2 abominations. Oh, and I didn't like Andor either. That's also. But see, Andor to me wasn't bad. It was just boring. But Boba Fett and Obi-Wan, those are trash.
That is the Book of Boba shit. That's what it was.
This fucking garbage. I was just like, that show is the epitome of disrespect. I was like, every episode, there were some moments where I was like, that's pretty cool, but there was too many of the like, I'm gonna stop watching this fucking trash. This is so damn disrespectful.
This is coming from a man that watched Batwoman.
Again, because you keep forgetting, I already acknowledged that Batwoman was trash. It was trash from episode 1.
Watch Batman or Boba Fett? Batwoman or Boba Fett?
I would rather watch Boba Fett, but they're both still shit though.
No.
They're both still trash.
Negative.
Like it's some shit like you can have a polished shit. I don't care what kind of Febreze or what you do to make that smell better. It's still a pile of shit. It's still shit. So sure, I would definitely rather watch Obi-Wan Kenobi or Boba Fett over that.
You're right. Shit is shit, right? But you ever go to the bathroom and take a shit and smell your own shit? Like, you don't always do it, but that one time you smell your own shit. I
don't smell Boba shit. No.
No. That his shit is so bad you can smell it from another galaxy. That shit is horrible.
The meaning of badass. You look it up. Look up the meaning of badass.
There was nothing badass about him. Finnick was more badass than he was. Okay. I was like, he didn't even get to kill the individual.
Did Finnick go in the bar and beat all the bikers and took their stuff?
just because that show had a
Defendant
couple of
hero.
moments where he was fighting and that nigga literally slept in the
Defendant
back to tank most of the
all
episode.
well, all we seen of the Sand People is them killing people and dismantling people, doing all kind of crazy stuff. They kill Anakin's mother, did all kind of stuff. They even were even rumored to be cannibals. He survived and became their brethren. Doesn't that take some level of badassery?
There were a couple of moments where I was like, oh, okay,
Ladies
he's
and
kicking
gentlemen of
ass.
the jury,
However, he was
you're
taking
not
a
answering my
nap.
question. You're not answering my question, Terrence. Is that
Yes,
some
I did.
level
I
of
said there were a couple of moments that were
no?
badass and
That's a
cool, but
specific question.
that the show is still a pile of shit. It doesn't matter. Like, first of all, how would you be able to do a Boba Fett show and not have him throw a single punch? That is just
He
like
did
the
the
worst shit
fight
that
scene.
somebody could bring up is that like
The
he got
fight
into a fight
scene.
scene. He's supposed to get into a fight scene. He's Boba Fett. But that wasn't the whole show. He was taking a nap in a fucking Bacta tank, right?
So,
Chewbacca's cousin had to snatch him out of that shit like, yo, we need you to do something in your own show. Oh, and
No,
he
he
was
didn't.
disrespected by
He tried
knockoff.
to kill him. He tried to
what's
He
that?
kill him. And Boba Fett defeated him.
Chrysanthemum was more beast than Boba Fett. And he got disrespected by knockoff Power Rangers. It wasn't even the real Power
Oh,
Rangers.
I,
It was
God.
like, fuck
I
you,
was
Boba
about to
Fett, you
say
trash.
I was about to say we
Wow.
had Power Rangers in this motherfucker too. I was about to say the same thing. You know what I mean?
Listen to the
But I'll
haters.
answer your question, Danny, because I know Terrence said what he said, but he didn't actually want to answer. But yeah, okay. So he did. You want to say what he did in that bar and beating him up was badass shit? I'll say
I
yeah.
just said that that was a badass scene, but again, he's
But
supposed to throw a punch.
okay, we only seen Boba Fett for a total of 15, 20 minutes on screen time before this. So where are you getting all this? He didn't do anything. He didn't do this. The man survived the Charlotte pit for however long he was in there. He came back and did all that stuff. He took his armor back from the sheriff who was supposed to be the quote badass. He did badass stuff. But y'all just didn't
This
like the way some of the things panned out.
no. That is not the same man that was standing next to Darth Vader. I'm like, Darth
I
Vader
agree.
hired
You are
him.
correct. You are correct. Keep living, Terrence. The 20 or 30-year-old version you are now is going to be totally different than the 50-something. I'm telling you what I know. The 23-year-old Danny was a bad man. The 53, not
Okay,
so much.
so here's the thing, right? This character was such a bitch that he was talking about, I plan to rule with
Wow.
respect. I'm like, that's why he's getting disrespected in his own show. That nigga was
Okay.
trash.
Okay.
Boba Fett was trash.
How did he get the throne? He come into another man's house, shot him, push him off the throne, and sit down and take over. That ain't bad.
That to me, that is the yes, but that is the equivalent of somebody
Okay.
telling me, Terrence, did you see that one fight scene in Batwoman? The fucking character, the show is still garbage. You throwing a punch in a specific context does not make you badass overall. That
No,
nigga
hold
was
on.
trash.
But here's the thing, Danny, you're correct. He walked in there and he dusted dude, but that was fucking the dude from like he was a nobody. He
It
was
don't
fucking
matter.
You don't get no credit
You
for
don't get.
dusting an average person. He
yeah,
beat
he
up
was
somebody at
nobody.
McDonald's. He took
Hey,
out somebody that worked at McDonald's, and
if
I'm
you
supposed to give
go,
him a bunch of props.
if you go to another man, if you are a king, you go to another man's kingdom, whether the man is a good king or a bad king, a strong king or a weak king,
He was definitely a bad king.
and you snatch his throne, you can't help what the competition is. All you
But you
did
see,
was a badass thing. You took it.
I can help, and
in
you
his
can help with
mind.
the writing. Is they wrote that shit to be trash. They should have had him do better stuff.
I didn't say
But
nothing
here's
about
the
the
thing,
writers.
Danny.
I'm saying the actor.
No, but here's the
Actor
thing,
as a
Danny.
character.
Nobody has a problem with the actor. I have a problem with the show because they turned him into a bitch.
Character showed badass elements to what Boba Fett was.
Right? He was so badass that he had to take naps in the back to tank the majority of the show.
Okay,
Like,
he was
no, and he
trying to
got
get healed.
disrespected by Power Rangers.
So Terrence, you mean to tell me if you was dropped in a vat of acid or something and you were able to come back and there's some kind of treatment that would take to heal you back up, you're not gonna take it? And
What does the treatment have to do with this nigga talking about? I plan to
you're
rule with
not
respect.
you are deflecting the question. The question is, Terrence, at your superior physical specimen that you are now, that you tell us you are, if you were somehow injured gravely, and there is some kind of treatment that would get you back to what you were, would you not be in there to try to get back to what you were?
Of course, I would heal myself.
That's what
So,
he
but
did.
what does
That's
that
what he was
have to
doing.
do with what does that have to do with them writing him to sleep in a tank because they had nothing better for him to do?
Because he's trying to heal himself.
No, you don't need to spend half of the damn show on him trying to heal himself. That is called bad writing, Danny. You can miss me with that shit.
Wow, I'm telling you, that's why he was in there. I did. You never heard me say it was great writing. It's fantastic writing. It's going to be award-winning writing. You never heard me say that. All I'm telling you is that these scenes that we saw in here, the reason why they did it, he was in
We
that.
know why he did it because the writers wrote that nigga to be trash. They should have gave him better stuff to do.
You see, the reason why they did that is so that they could do those boring ass fucking flashbacks. Those
Yep.
flashbacks
And
were
then what the flashbacks
garbage.
did, the flashbacks put filled in the gaps. What it was meant to do.
Yeah, I didn't want that.
Filled in.
All we needed to know was he got out the fucking thing, right? He joined the crew.
Hold
You know
on.
what I mean? Like,
Okay,
Filled in the gaps.
I don't ever want to hear either one of y'all say anything about world building and character development. I don't want to hear them words come out your
I
mouth.
said world building. I didn't say shit building. What the hell? There's a difference. I'm
Yeah,
like,
'cause
are you
Difference
trying
is
to put me to sleep?
If we would have seen those flashbacks, we wouldn't know what had happened and fill in the gaps of what had happened. We wouldn't have known that without the flashbacks.
I wish we wouldn't have known that. I would have.
Wow.
He just.
Wow.
I can understand if you want to do flashbacks, and I think for one they did too many of them, right?
Mhm,
That's the problem.
mhm.
I think they did too many of them. Like I know I shit on the flashbacks. Sometimes flashbacks are done really well, and sometimes they're a little bit too much. I think we had a little bit too much of the flashbacks in this one, but I just think like I don't give a fuck that he fucking took over the Tuscan Raiders and became a part
Right,
of
the little sand people. I'm like, man.
Wow.
I'm like, what the? I'm like, they got me so excited when I saw the child. I was like, oh my god, a show about Boba Fett. This is like one of the coolest characters ever, and they made him a bitch. I am done.
To be all that
Yeah.
haterade I got.
No. More like the honest aid. That's what it is.
He should have been doing what Mando was doing.
Yes, right. I was like, yo, yes,
people.
yes.
You know what I mean? That's what
I was like, you know how badass Mando is. When right, you know how badass Mando is. Like when he walked into the room, when he came from behind the curtain, I was like, Boba Fett will never be that fucking cool. All Mando had to do was walk in the room, and they played his theme. I was like, that shit is better than Boba Fett's whole fucking show just by him walking with a theme. I'm like, they couldn't make Boba Fett as cool as Mando, a nigga we just met.
And then
oh, come on, man! Like,
and then they put him in some sort of fucking dress. You know what I mean? I know,
right?
But it looked like a fucking dress, and I'm just like, why the fuck do we have Boba Fett in a fucking dress?
Okay, I got something for this.
Oh man, that shit is wild, man. I don't know why they did him like that. That's crazy.
That was funny. You see, now that's a picture I can get with. That's what we need.
Right.
We need a fucking Mace Windu sighting. No, we don't need a Mace Windu sighting.
You know what? You know what? Hey, check this out. If they announced Anzo tomorrow that they doing a Mace Windu show or movie, I'll be scared because if they do that, anything like. No, I like Mace Windu. Like, bear in mind that there are some characters from them prequels that I like, even though I didn't like the prequels. There's some stuff in it that I like. Mace Windu is dope, not just because of Samuel Jackson, but I legitimately like that character. But I would be scared because the Book of Boba trash and Trash Kenobi. Like, because of those shows, I'm going to be worried that they going to screw over Mace Windu. They just going to bring him back and they going to do some bullshit.
I would say this. I would have been worried, but I got Ahsoka. So now I'm getting my faith back that they can do some good Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, I know you said you only like 2 episodes. That's fine. Me and Donnie, we'd like the whole
No. Episode 4, 5, and 7. And then 6 I was okay with. 6 I was okay with.
Okay.
So and then 8 I was okay with too. I just didn't think it was great.
Right. So that shows us that they can do good Star Wars. So I'm excited for them to do more Star Wars like that. Let Dave Filoni and fucking Favreau do their thing. Kathleen Kennedy, keep your shit out of it, right? And let's get some good Star Wars. Now I know people. have been hating on the acolytes, but I kind of like what they're doing over there. I think when they show the fighting, it looks kind of good. So I'm interested.
Kathleen Kennedy is trash. She is like the worst thing to happen to Star Wars. I thought it was the prequels, but I have been proven so wrong by the literal virus that is Kathleen Kennedy. Like whatever she touches, she just slowly kills. She is the reason why there are a million videos of humans disliking Star Wars. It's because of her. It's all because of her. If you remove her from the equation, everybody will get better. We will all live in peace and harmony together. We will never have to suffer through the book of Boba trash again. Everything will be right in the world.
Wow.
Hold on, Danny. Did you look for this, or did it just happen to pop up? Let me bring up what Danny brought up here. Let's see what this is saying.
Star Wars Galaxy is Force sensitive.
Everyone has the Force in them. Everyone. There's two sides to the Force.
Okay.
The dark side, which is selfishness, and the light side, which is compassion.
George said in the Star Wars archives, Paul Duncan, he said,
I
it's
see
like learning karate. Everyone can learn karate. It just depends on skill, how much you practice, how much you train, and of course, talent. Anakin, for example, extremely talented, and he trained not as much as, let's say, Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he was on par with Obi-Wan, if anything, more powerful. Nick Gillard came up with a power system. Obi-Wan was at a 7. Once Anakin went to the dark side, he jumped a level and passed, and he jumped up to level 9. Is literally just verbatim what George has said years and years and years ago. But I know a lot of people are going to have a big problem with it, but it's literally what's been in Star Wars.
You see, now here's the problem that I have with that, right? Yes, George Lucas has said that everybody has the Force in them, right?
Right, right.
He did something in prequels where he created the Metachlorians. So everybody can have the Force in them, but if you don't have a good Metachlorian count, then it doesn't matter whether you have the Force.
Right, right. See, and that
gets contradicted, right?
Right, and that right there.
Shut up, nerd man.
That right there, Anzo, is the perfect example of why when I get certain Star Wars fans that be saying goofy shit to me, I'm just like, have you not noticed the blatant contradictions within their own fucking storytelling? I'm like, yeah, they trying to claim to me how fucking smart they are, but I'm like, you ain't spotting all this shit, or you just choosing to ignore it. It's weird to me. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you talking about? What about the Metachlorian count and that stupid shit that Yoda was talking about? What about that? They're like, oh, well, that was just in that one context. I'm like, it wasn't just a one context. That's in the continuity. It's the prequels.
Hold on, T. Danny, you got to bounce?
Yeah.
All right. Shout out your channel, brother. Let the people know.
Hey, I'm on the Road to Wisdom Monday through Thursdays. I'm doing a lot of shorts now, so if you don't see the actual video on 7, I'll try to do 2 shorts a day whenever I don't do it. Trying to drive traffic to my channel. I'm trying to get more views and stuff. But you can catch me on Anzo's show sometime the OC on Wednesdays, Gaiskar show to hang out, and of course these round tables. Sunday nights I'm on Storms Live, and then Monday we're on Chaos Central doing one of our 3 shows. But definitely appreciate it, man. Good talking to you, Terrence.
Yeah, likewise.
I got to be at work tomorrow at 7:30.
No problem. I'm not going to stay on here too much longer either because it's getting late. But thanks for coming in, Danny. Appreciate it.
Sure. Y'all take these, bros. Later.
All right, see you.
Take care, brother. But you see, yeah, you were correct, right? That's the thing. It's like you could say that everybody has the Force in them, but if you don't have the Metachlorian count, who cares? You know what I mean? You can learn it, but that's why I don't like Sabine having the Force. I don't like it.
You know what? Look, when it comes, Anzo, like you are, to me, you're one of the coolest Star Wars fans I know, right? So, I know a fair number of Star Wars fans, but you're definitely one of the coolest that I know, Anzo, right? In terms of your fairness in how you look at things, right? And also your knowledge, right? So with me, I'm a Star Wars fan, but because of the movies, right? So, with the movies, I haven't really ventured outside of that much. There was like a PlayStation game I played like when I was a kid, but really it was just the movies for me. didn't really get into the animation like that. And, you know, I've been told certain things, seen little nitbits of different things here and there. But for me, you know, the movies is my bread and butter, you know, whether I'm excited about them or not, you know. And then even like with Andor, you know, I finished that even though I didn't like it, right? So, you know, I stuck with Ahsoka, and, you know, I'm glad I did, because otherwise I wouldn't have saw episodes 4 and 5, right? So, you know, I feel like even though I feel like I won't really feel like how I felt as I did with the original trilogy, like when I was a kid, you know, there's still the possibility of certain things that can get me hyped, you know, and get me excited. But it's really a case by case basis with me, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm just not excited about because they keep letting me down. I'm just like, you're gonna do this again or something. And then, you know, of course, I want to enjoy it. I'm investing time in it. I prefer to enjoy that shit. Obviously, I don't want to, you know, invest time and then it, you know, it's bad to me or something, right? So that's the thing. And I think that the baseline for it all, no matter the disagreements or the preferences or none of that shit, the baseline of it, I think, for most individuals is that we want to enjoy the material through and through.
Hmm.
That's what we want,
Absolutely.
most of us,
Absolutely.
you know. So,
What?
you know, that's, you know, I hope that you know, I've made that clear in many cases that I'm passionate about the stuff that I like. I really am. And, you know, even when, you know, I feel like I'm let down and stuff, I still give it a chance. I do. So, you know.
Absolutely. 100%. I'm same there with you. I do too. But with that being said, guys, we are going to close it down. Thank you, Terrence, for popping in. Thank you, Danny, for popping in. Terrence, where can they find you, sir?
Oh, yeah, you can find me on T Virus. Oh, thank you for having me, Anzo. I know it's random and stuff, but you know,
Oh,
I
always
really
a pleasure, man.
um yes, you can find me on T Virus Terrence. Was it? So as you know, I remember I was like 7 months of like not posting anything, and then right then all the humans came and subbed, right? And then like
Hmm.
these last kind of 2 months, I've been posting stuff like little teases and stuff because the fans voted for that. Like I had did a poll, and I was like, "Do you want little nitbits of stuff as you wait till December 31st, 2023?" And 65% of them voted for yes. And I was just like, okay. So, but the thing is, like, they were just like, "Oh man, this is so much," because yo, I uploaded like more than 300 videos, right? And it was just like, they're like, "Wait a minute." They're like, "Aren't you gonna run out of stuff?" Or like, you know, what about the stuff that, you know, we're supposed to get? And I'm like, that stuff is already, you know, in the bag, Anzo. It's already scheduled. It's already there on the dates and times, right? There's still some other stuff that uh, I'm kind of sifting through to put them at certain dates and times. But when it's all said and done, man, like the whole year next year is going to be covered on top of whatever I decide to do in the moment. So, you know, the
Hmm.
videos are scheduled like from December 31st, 2023 up until the end of September of 2024, right? So that's almost a whole year. And then I got like posts and polls and things scheduled. Like, so I'm really, you know, working it out. And I just wanted to, you know, honor the fans and give them stuff because they've been so patient, you know, 7 months without stuff, even though there's a lot of stuff that I'm pretty sure they haven't seen. You know, that was my way of like, you know, respecting them. Like, you know what? Here's a bunch of stuff to eat on, and, you know, just trying to make the point, like, you know, I enjoy doing things and editing things and talking about things. And I'm like, I got all kinds of stuff planned, man. And I don't want humans to get disillusioned. Like, hey, you know, you know, you're using everything. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, you know how much stuff is missing? Like, so yeah, and you know what's up, Bonzo. So you know, on T
Absolutely.
Virus Terrence, yeah, on T Virus Terrence humans, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's there. You know, I might post some things here and there, but like I said, it's just really teases to get you ready for what's to come. And it's gonna be funny because humans not gonna be ready, and I am planning on taking over the platform and stuff. You know, all that stuff with the Terrentisms and all the support, and you know, I do enjoy it despite, you know, the kind of hardships of, you know, getting channels deleted and humans always coming after me and my shit and stuff. And it just, you know, stuff like that can make somebody give up, you know, stop,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
like just, But with me, it motivates me even more. And I appreciate like all the humans that have supported me, including you, Anzo. Yep, you the brother and
Oh,
everything. So uh,
always, you know what I mean?
and that's
So,
to me, yeah, it's just about fun, man.
so,
Yeah.
so from the brother, looks like you're gonna have to be doing the Daryl Dixon reviews with me then.
Oh yeah. So you want to do that, huh? Okay. Well,
Hmm.
if anything, shouldn't we do Dead City first?
Well,
Or
I did that city with Deej already because you didn't want to do it with me. I asked you, you said no. So now I'm asking you for Daryl Dixon.
okay, yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Now remember, at the time when you had asked me, that was like when I was already transitioning and stuff,
Yeah.
right? And I was
I
just
know
like,
why you said no. I know why you said no. I get
right.
it.
So
It's not like you just didn't want to do it. It's because you were
right,
actually at the time, like you were like, I'm not coming back to YouTube.
right,
So like, yeah, I understand that. That's no problem.
yeah.
You know,
But
not, I'm not.
but
I'm
no,
not mad at you for that. But what I'm saying is that we got to do the Daryl stuff because I was gonna do it with Deej. I told him if he, will do it, but me and Deej had the little issue, so that won't be happening. So I need a new partner to do it.
yeah. The only thing though is that I know that's gonna be late as hell because I haven't even started Daryl. You know what I mean? And you've already seen you're all caught up, right?
No, I'm not all caught up yet. I think I've seen. Well, I've seen the first 3 episodes, but the second, well, maybe the third one, I was kind of doing other things while I was playing, so I didn't really watch it yet. But I mean, whenever you watch it, we'll do it. We'll do all 5. We'll do the whole series at one time.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I think it would be probably better to do like a series thing because most likely at the rate that it's going, like you're gonna finish it way before me, and then I'll be watching it like way after the fact, So that's another
Mhm.
thing with the timing because I know a lot of YouTubers, including yourself, you try to jump on things as fast as possible as to where like with me especially more recently I've been more kind of planning and calculating holding on to stuff and so it could be considered late by many YouTuber standards but to me as far as I'm concerned there is no too late especially if humans want to talk about something or they want to hear you talk about something
Mhm.
it's never too late like if I say if I just found out about you today, Anzo, right? Say, we weren't brothers and stuff, and I came across your channel. I'm like, hey, this dude's pretty cool. I'm not gonna be like, well, I don't want to hear his opinion on Batman '89 because it came out in the '80s. Like, I don't
Yeah,
care. I want
yeah,
to hear what
yeah,
you got to say about
yeah,
Batman
yeah,
'89.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, just let me know when you watch it, and then we'll work on something for that, man. Again, like I said, I gotta finish watching it too, so there's that. And I'm pretty sure, if anything, there'll be other shows where maybe you'll watch them as they come on. We could discuss it, so we'll figure something out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, whenever I finish Daryl, because there's only one more left, the one coming on Sunday, because I think it's like 6 episodes,
Okay.
like Dead City.
Hmm.
So what's gonna happen is most likely I'll probably binge it with the friends, or we'll do like 3 at a time and then another 3 another time. Because like with Dead City, I had already seen that first episode, so we just had 5 and we just kind of knocked them all out. Like we were gonna just stop at like episode 6 or whatever, but that shit was so good that we was like, nah, fuck it, we just gonna finish it and So most likely, if everybody's feeling that way about Daryl, we're talking about it could be 3 at one time or maybe all 6. But
Yeah,
once I finish up, I'll let you know like, hey, I'm done, and then we can plan something from there.
absolutely. Because I remember when I used to text you, watch Dead City yet? No, I haven't watched it. But fuck, man. Because the scene that I wanted to talk to you about is when Negan went full Negan and he grabbed the guy,
Yeah,
knock, knock, and he was busting his
yeah,
head through the fucking glass and then
yeah,
coming
yep,
with his
yep,
guts and shit. I was like, oh man, that was Negan, bro. I
yeah, yeah,
love
yep. See,
that
when
scene.
hey man, honestly, when I was watching it, there were like so many moments when I was like, this would have obviously been something that I would have talked to you about, like
Mhm.
it just naturally popped in my head. I was like, man, like I was like, yeah, me and Alonzo would have been talking the hell out of this scene and this and that, and even when certain moments, I wonder if Anzo liked this part or whatever, So
Mhm.
I was naturally, just thinking about it and stuff because of our, relationship. And then in the past, we were talking about, Walking Dead stuff. So, and I was just like, this scene is fire. I hope Anzo liked this scene because I was like, I'll be surprised if he didn't like this scene. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
The only scene that I can say that I wasn't really too fond of is that zombie looking creature that they had. Because I'm like, if this thing, as heavy as it is, actually dropped on Maggie like it did, she would have been dead. You know what I mean? Like that shit would have ate her up.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. The one that looked all mutated and had like four
Yeah,
heads and shit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That,
No, I feel you, man. Like, so number one, me and the friends, we were just so surprised by that creature, right? It was just like, what the fuck is that? Like, we've never seen that before, right? So and then it fell on her, and then I swear, Anzo, we all had the same. Oh shit! Like we thought, like
she's dead.
damn, like
Yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah.
dead, or like she's gonna be in a coma, like because
Mhm,
it looks big and heavy, but then she survived and she was stabbing it, and we were like, oh okay, like I mean, hey, Maggie is badass, but there's obviously the realistic component, So once we saw that she didn't die, then it was like, okay, she's not gonna die, I don't think, so she's probably gonna get away. But yeah, I feel you. I pretty much felt the same way, except that I did, like the creature, and I thought it was,
I like the way
very
it
different.
looked because it
Yeah,
was different. I like the way it looked, right? But the
right,
scene where I was just like, okay, that's a little bit too much.
right.
Chill,
I,
man.
I was like Maggie. I was like Maggie. I was like, look. I will fight for you because you're one of the coolest characters and stuff. You're a badass and stuff. But I'm like, you're not that big, and that thing is huge. You're a woman. I'm like, that should have crushed the shit out of you. That should have smashed you so hard that it might have wiped you out from the whole from the from the
Right.
whole universe. So
That's what I'm saying, guys. If you haven't watched Dead City, like, I know a lot of people fell off of The Walking Dead, but if you haven't watched Dead City, go and watch it. It's really a good watch, man. And so far, from what I seen from Daryl, it was pretty good too. You know what I mean? I read something somewhere where they were talking about episode 3 was kind of like a cartoony, and people were like freaking out about it. I haven't seen that yet, so I got to watch that part yet. But so
um,
far, what they're doing with Daryl is good.
how do you mean like
I don't
like
know. It's just they said, like, the article was, and I didn't read the whole thing because you know me, I don't want no spoilers or anything. But they just said it felt like different from the first 2 episodes. I think it was episode 3 or episode 4 they were talking about. I can't really remember. So I gotta watch it and see, and then when I do, I'll be able to be like, okay, now I know what they were talking about. But so far, that shit was lit. I'm like, this is pretty
hmm.
good. You
So
know?
like you think I'm trying to I know like you said you gotta watch it, but like are you saying like they were trying to say it was like cartoonish compared
Yeah,
to
yeah.
them? Oh,
Yeah. Like, I
okay.
guess things that happen look way too cartoony, and things that wouldn't happen. So I don't know. I have to watch it to
Right,
see,
right, right.
right?
Yeah.
But from what they were saying, I was like, okay. But then again, sometimes these guys talk out their asses when they talk about certain things, and I don't either see it or I don't agree with what they're saying. But we'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, because Daryl's one of my favorite characters, so naturally I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like even like with Dead City, like Negan's one of my favorite characters. Like
Me too.
Maggie, like she's always been kind of cool, but one has to remember, like if you watched as much as Walking Dead as we have, which is everything that they had to offer, there's so many great characters that I can't stress enough. When I say somebody my favorite, I picked them carefully, and then even then there's still like runner ups and stuff. But I'm
Mhm.
like, it's hard to pick, like a top 10 in The Walking Dead, unless
Absolutely.
unless you just only like one character, then maybe. But if you like me and like yourself, I would imagine you like many of the characters. It's hard. Like individuals are going to be left out. It's just that's the way it is.
And there were a lot of characters that I liked that died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
even that, like you said, to go and pick characters, be like, oh, Governor was a great villain as
Yep.
well. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Negan's the best, but
Right.
Governor is right up there. You know what I mean? Governor
Yeah.
was sick too. And we have on the AMC, on my Prime, I have the AMC channel, and they just show Walking Dead stuff like all day, every day, right? Walking
Right.
Dead stuff. And I'm not exactly sure. how the pattern is, because sometimes it seems like they have one episode and then like let's say they have episode 3, then they have episode 5 or something like that. So I'm not exactly sure how they do it, or maybe they do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then repeat it, and I might have missed it and went back and like, oh, that's how they do it. So something like that. But yeah, so I was watching a couple of old episodes, man. I was just like, yeah, this show was really good, man. Really, really good. But with that being said, thank you everybody for popping in. It's always a pleasure. Brandon Davis popped in. Tony Robinson was here. Big Brell was here. Man, I always appreciate you guys popping in. Nindroid popped in for a bit. Anik, Poe, Cousin T, Basel. Thank you guys. Always a pleasure. Sunday will be the roundtable. I'll be doing another episode 2 Loki watch party next Thursday. So until it's over, as long as they keep dropping their shows at 9:00, I will be doing the watch parties. But with that being said, guys, peace, love, and hair grease, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Real bad man, now we people dance. We take dancing to a higher rank. With pen pound and with pen frank. Janaba new dance and Austinator and drunk. Yes, on the river, on the bank. Kick out the shoes because you put them no camp. Stay in the river, on the bank. Janaba new dance and Austinator and drunk. Yeah, down the flank we have.